Chapter 150 All the Demons in the World. Behold Xianxia, please subscribe. _2. I will enter seclusion for a period of time. Unless there is an urgent matter, do not disturb me. Lin Yuan instructed. This time in seclusion, Lin Yuan mainly prepared for his breakthrough to the 5th rank. Yes. Protector Yuan said earnestly. She thought Xianxia Yuan had sustained injuries and was now in seclusion to recuperate. After all, being suppressed in the 18th layer of the Great Abyss for 25 years, how could he not have paid any price? Lin Yuan, raising a hand to kill the peak of the 8th realm Xianxia, was already incredibly inconceivable. His body must undoubtedly have many hidden issues. He walked into the room. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged on the bed. 5th rank. Lin Yuan wore a thoughtful expression. Spending 20 years on the 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, Lin Yuan spent most of his time in enlightenment, contemplating the path of the 5th rank. The 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, with its harsh environment and sparse heavenly earth vital energy. Even if Lin Yuan could break through, he would not choose to do it there. There shouldn't be any problems. Half a day later, Lin Yuan exhaled lightly. However, this Xianxia Yuan indeed possesses extraordinary talent. Lin Yuan's thoughts shifted back to himself. Based on the memories he perused about Xianxia Yuan, this person possessed unimaginable talent in the demonic Tao. Not just that, Xianxia Yuan had an almost suppressive power over other demon lords. Continue to recover strength. Reach the peak of the 4th rank. Then break through to the 5th rank. Lin Yuan's thoughts moved, and he proceeded with his cultivation. Suddenly, the heavenly earth vital energy for dozens of miles around, like a funnel, converged towards the mountain village where Lin Yuan resided. The news of Xianxia Yuan emerging from the Great Abyss caused a huge uproar throughout the 5 domains. This matter couldn't be concealed, especially since the guardian of the Great Abyss hadn't died. Even if he had, there would still be inspections from time to time. The righteous forces naturally remembered the fear under Xianxia Yuan's domination. The veteran demon lords who had experienced the events 20 or 30 years prior immediately became panic-stricken. They were well aware of how terrible Xianxia Yuan was. But the demon lords born in the last 2 or 3 decades were somewhat dismissive. Demons by nature value freedom and independence. The newer demon lords thought, even if Xianxia Yuan was once an unrivaled demon in the demonic Tao, he had been suppressed for 2 or 3 decades. How much strength could he have left? 10%? 20%? Or 30%? Some even saw this as an opportunity. For most demon lords, Xianxia Yuan was like a demon obstacle. If they could kill him at this time, they would completely replace his status from 20 to 30 years ago. Become the leader of countless demon lords in the 5 domains? This idea spread rapidly among most demon lords, especially among the newer ones. Over the past 2 to 3 decades, they had heard too many legends about Xianxia Yuan. If they could shatter that legend, then they could become the new legend. Outside the mountain village where Lin Yuan resided, unknown when, one figure after another appeared. These figures had dark and oppressive auras, clearly experienced demon lords. Was that the last known location of Xianxia Yuan? A sinister young man with his hands behind his back spoke faintly. This sinister young man, named Bian Mao, emerged as a prodigious talent in the demonic Tao almost 20 years ago, possessing peak 8th realm strength and known as the Minor Demon Lord. The title Demon Lord is generally used for 9th realm demons. That Bian Mao could be called a Minor Demon Lord. Obviously, there was a great possibility that he would step into the 9th realm. By then, the Minor Demon Lord would become a true demon monarch. Bian Mao, listen well, this hunt for Xianxia Yuan is a significant matter. This is a legendary grand demon from 25 years ago, nearly invincible in the world. A hoarse voice sounded. A figure emerged from a nearby shadow and spoke. If you, Xianxia, dare to, why wouldn't I, Bian Mao? The sinister young man Bian Mao let out a cold chuckle. Xianxia was also a demon lord whose reputation was not much less than his. He was best at assassination, even having severely wounded a 9th realm powerhouse. Of course, that act of severely wounding a 9th realm powerhouse involved an ambush by Xianxia when the opponent's mind was distracted, allowing him to strike fiercely. But regardless, being able to severely wound a 9th realm practitioner had indeed proved Xianxia's strength. If Xianxia ambushed a certain 8th realm practitioner, wouldn't the latter be doomed? All right. Stop arguing. Just then, a crisp female voice came. It rang like a bell in the breeze. A young girl in a light green skirt stretched and jumped down from a large rock. She had been sitting on the rock all this while, watching the movements at the distant mountain village. This joint hunt for Xiahou Yuan by the three of us is a significant event. If successful, we could become the next generation leaders of the demonic path in the 5 domains. The girl's expression became rarely solemn. If we fail... She stopped there, not continuing further. Don't worry. With the strength of the 3 of us, plus hundreds of subordinates, Xiahou Yuan would definitely die unless he has regained his peak 9th realm strength. Even if he has returned to full strength, we could still abandon those subordinates, and the 3 of us might have a chance to escape. Xianxia spoke indifferently. As his voice fell, figures stepped out from the shadows in all directions simultaneously. These figures revealed their auras, all 7th realm demon lords. Interspersed, they formed a formation capable of killing an 8th realm practitioner outright, and even a 9th realm practitioner would be immensely troubled. Chapter 151. All the demons in the world, see me Xiahou, seeking subscriptions. Under 3 moreover, there were 3 masters at the peak of the 8th realm who could even wrestle with a demon lord of the 9th realm, such exceptional talents of the demonic Tao? It's about time. We can make a move now. The sinister youth, Bien Mao, glanced at the distant stronghold and spoke. The atmosphere feels off. Deep in the stronghold, in front of the house where Lin Yuan was in retreat. As a protector, Nuan naturally guarded him all the time, but at this moment, she faintly sensed danger. Could this place have been discovered? Nuan felt a shock in her heart. Indeed, that was a possibility. Ever since Xiahou Yuan was suppressed, the forces she could muster had grown weaker, and even the specially arranged strongholds were no longer flawless. No. I must see the master. I need to leave quickly. Nuan was highly vigilant, but just as she was about to knock on the door, she suddenly remembered that the master should be healing now. Disturbing him at this moment could potentially exacerbate his injuries. Would that not be a death-deserving crime? While Nuan hesitated, swish, 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 several figures clad in black swiftly retreated back. They were precisely Nuan's few remaining subordinates. What's happening? Nuan sensed something was wrong. We are surrounded. One of the subordinates spoke in a deep voice. Surrounded. Nuan's expression darkened. This fast? Tap, tap, tap. Light footsteps began to sound. Unbeknownst to them, hundreds of figures had already appeared around the house within the stronghold. These hundreds of figures, with their auras faintly connected, clearly shared a common intent and had mastered some powerful joint attack skill. Come out. Seeing this, Nuan knew she couldn't escape unscathed. So you are one of the 36 protectors under Xiahou Yuan from years ago, Nuan Shu? A sinister youth stepped forward, looking at Nuan Shu with interest. He had not lived through Xiahou Yuan's era and thus had no fear of it. Indeed loyal. If I'm not mistaken, your master is in this house, right? How dare you? Nuan burst into rage. What status does the master hold, for a junior like this sinister youth to address him directly? Bien Mao, how dare you? Nuan stared intently at the sinister youth. She also recognized Bien Mao, the most promising to ascend to the 9th realm's little demon lord. Protector Nuan, times have changed. Upon hearing this, the sinister youth Bien Mao's expression turned cold. The era belonging to Xiahou Yuan has passed. The sinister youth Bien Mao said with a cold laugh. Stop talking. Attack directly. A girl in a light green skirt appeared simultaneously with Xianxia. A profound aura suddenly spread, rapidly enveloping the entire stronghold. Just as the sinister youth Bien Mao, the girl in the light green skirt, Xianxia, and the hundreds of demon crowd were about to attack. Crack. The wooden door behind Nuan was pushed open. Such a lively scene? A gentle voice came from inside the house. Immediately, a foot stepped out. Under the gaze of the sinister youth, Xianxia, and others, a tall man walked out from the cabin. Is that Xiahou Yuan? Even though they had anticipated this scene in their minds, the sinister youth and others still felt their heartbeats accelerate. This was a legend from 20 or 30 years ago. Kill! The sinister youth Bien Mao, Xianxia, and the girl in the light green skirt were resolute. Even if it was truly Xiahou Yuan, how did it matter? It wasn't 30 years ago anymore, and even if he was once a legend, they dared to make a move to hunt him down. Lin Yuan stood at a distance, his lips curling into a smile. Boom! In an instant, within a 10 to several tens of kilometers radius, any demon practicing demonic Tao arts, be it from the 7th realm, 8th realm, or even 9th realm, couldn't help but prostrate themselves on the ground, trembling. All demons in the world, upon seeing Xianxia, must bow down. Chapter 152. The 9 Demon Lords, subscribe please. Inside the stronghold, hundreds of demon chiefs had murderous intentions reaching for the skies. Yet, they found themselves involuntarily kneeling and kowtowing the instant they saw Lin Yuan. This was an incomparable suppression, emanating from the depths of the soul, as if all demon chiefs who practiced demonic cultivation in the world were under its jurisdiction. How is this possible? The sinister young man Bian Mao knelt on the ground, unable to move, waves of shock flooding his heart. With his strength, even if he encountered a peak existence of the 9th realm, he might not be able to fight or escape, but he wouldn't just kneel directly. Yet now, not only had he, Bian Mao, knelt down, but all the demonic arts and forbidden techniques inside him had fallen eerily silent. This was simply unthinkable. This Xianxia Yuan. A chill ran down the spine of the sinister young man Bian Mao. He finally understood why the seasoned demon chiefs, who had lived through the era 30 years ago, were panicked upon hearing that Xianxia Yuan had emerged from the great abyss. They were not considering hunting him down, not even entertaining a thought of hostility. At that time he, Bian Mao, had been somewhat contemptuous, even mocking those seasoned demon chiefs for being so terrified by Xianxia Yuan that they hadn't emerged for decades. However, facing Xianxia Yuan directly, the sinister young man Bian Mao deeply realized just how terrifying Xianxia Yuan, who once dominated the demons of the 5 domains and was known as Demon Lord, truly was. His own grand ambitions to replace Xianxia Yuan and become the next legendary figure now seemed ludicrous. If Xianxia Yuan were so easy to deal with, then upon learning he had emerged from the great abyss, the 9 great demon lords of the 5 domains would have come to hunt him down already. How could a lesser demon lord like himself possibly get a head start? It turns out, we were being used. Xianxia, also kneeling on the ground, suddenly realized something. Their operation was not exactly clandestine. A few of the 9 great demon lords were aware of it. Yet from the beginning to the end, they had encountered no hindrances. Instead, everything went unusually smoothly, easily pinpointing Xianxia Yuan's location. Before this, Xianxia had merely thought it was Providence aiding him. But now they, the young generation, had clearly become the knife in the hands of those seasoned demon chiefs. Those seasoned demon chiefs, including the 9 great demon lords, having experienced the era of Xianxia Yuan, knew too well the terror he wielded. That's why, even upon learning that Xianxia Yuan had just stepped out of the great abyss and couldn't possibly be in peak condition, they still dared not make a move. To those seasoned demon chiefs, the rise of this younger generation was an unexpected delight. With the tacit agreement of several demon lords, they gathered together and discussed the hunting of the legendary demon chief, Xianxia Yuan. Little did they know, all of their actions were under the scrutiny of those seasoned demon chiefs. With great caution, they used them to test Xianxia Yuan. If they managed to kill Xianxia Yuan, it would be tantamount to helping those seasoned demon chiefs eliminate a major worry. If not, it had nothing to do with those seasoned demon chiefs. From beginning to end, this young generation of demon chiefs had never collaborated with them on anything. All actions were of their own volition. Master, why hasn't Master come? Xianxia Yuan is too terrifying. Wah 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 wah. The girl in a light green dress crushed the jade amulet in her hand. According to the plan she had with her master, as soon as she crushed the amulet, her 9th realm master would come at the fastest speed and end everything. At that time, whether it was the lesser demon lord Bian Mao or Xianxia, both could only kneel under her skirt. But she had ground the jade amulet into dust, and her master still hadn't arrived. In front of the wooden hut, Lin Yuan looked at all the demon chiefs kneeling on the ground. His expression showed no surprise. As soon as he had arrived in this world, Lin Yuan knew that Xianxia Yuan had a near-terrifying suppressive power over all demon chiefs. Of course, this suppressive power was not without limit. It had to be within the same realm. For example, when Xianxia Yuan was in the 7th realm, all demon chiefs of the 7th realm and below would be suppressed in his presence. Even those at the peak of the 7th realm could not escape this suppression and would have no choice but to kneel and kowtow upon encountering Xianxia Yuan. If it were a demon chief of the 8th realm, they might mitigate the suppression, but they would only ensure they would not have to kneel and kowtow. Attacking Xiahou Yuan was something they would not dare to contemplate. Decades ago, how did Xiahou Yuan gain dominance over the demon chiefs of the 5 domains? Was it simply by force? By strength? The Tianjin sect and other righteous forces had not dominated the demonic Tao for so many years, so how could Xiahou Yuan have managed it? Even if one's strength were great, for those demon chiefs and demon lords, they could simply choose to stay far away. If they couldn't defeat him, couldn't they just hide? Even against the righteous forces, when faced with a 10th realm powerhouse of righteousness, demon chiefs could indeed hide. For tens of thousands of years, 3 10th realm powerhouses had emerged from the Tianjin sect. Even so, at most, they made the demon chiefs of the 5 domains fall silent and disappear for a few hundred years. Once the 10th realm powerhouse died, the demon chiefs would emerge again. But Xiahou Yuan managed to make all the demon chiefs of the 5 domains submit, and strength alone was definitely not enough to explain it. Lin Yuan, suppressed on the 18th layer beneath the Great Abyss ground, chose the most torturous method to recover his strength instead of simply letting his primordial spirit exit the body and seek a new vessel. He was concerned that if he changed bodies, he would lose this suppressive power. He knew that even without this natural means to suppress demons, Lin Yuan was destined to be invincible in the world. But having it in advance could definitely help him avoid some detours. Moreover, Lin Yuan was also quite curious. What was the principle behind this suppression? Chapter 153 The 9 Demon Lords. Please subscribe. Under 2. Stop squeezing, your master has long since run away. Lin Yuan looked at the many demon heads kneeling on the ground and glanced at the young girl dressed in a light green skirt, as he saw her attempting to crush a jade pendant that was nearly reduced to powder. As soon as the girl had appeared, Lin Yuan had sensed an aura on her that was connected to another aura 100 miles away. The aura 100 miles away originated from the same source as the girl's but was much stronger, likely belonging to a 9th realm demon head. However, at the moment the girl crushed the jade pendant, the aura 100 miles away, like a startled bird, rapidly fled far away, and by now, it had probably already escaped 1,000 miles away. This instantly made Lin Yuan lose the intention to pursue. It wasn't that he couldn't catch up, but that there was no need. What was most important for him now was to break through to the 5th rank as quickly as possible, and all other matters could be postponed. Actually, Lin Yuan speculated that if the girl had not crushed the jade pendant, the 9th realm demon head 100 miles away might have approached out of curiosity. But once the jade pendant was crushed, it indicated that something unpredictable had occurred, and the most likely cause of that variable would be Xiahou Yuan. How would the aura 100 miles away dare to come closer? Xiahou. Lord. My lord. The young girl in the light green skirt trembled as she stuttered. Decades earlier, Xiahou Yuan had unified the demonic path of the 5 domains and was known as Demon Lord, with his followers respectfully addressing him as my lord. Enough. Lin Yuan looked at the other demon heads, his gaze briefly resting on the eerie youth Bian Mao and Yin Shirlu. Do you want to die or live? Lin Yuan's voice was not loud, but it echoed in everyone's ears. To die or to live. Upon hearing this, the eerie youth Bian Mao was momentarily stunned. Then a look of wild joy appeared on his face. Initially, he thought he was certain to die, but now it seemed from Lin Yuan's intentions that there was a chance he could live. Want to live. Demon Lord, we want to live. Reporting to my lord, we want to live. The numerous demon heads quickly said. Since you want to live, don't resist. Lin Yuan raised his right hand, and hundreds of streams of light flew out, landing on the foreheads of each of the demon heads. Lin Yuan had just emerged from the Great Abyss, and the forces he had established in the past had long since disbanded. He was in need of a group of subordinates to serve him. Lin Yuan had no great demands on his subordinates, as long as they could help him find some heavenly earth spiritual medicine, to quickly cultivate at an accelerated pace. Yes. Bian Mao and the other demon heads felt a chill on their foreheads, as if something had penetrated their minds, and they didn't dare to examine it closely, quickly responding. Humph. Protector Nuan stood atop Lin Yuan, looking down at the eerie youth and other demon heads, with a hint of smugness on her face. Call it yelling and screaming. Are you juniors even qualified to challenge my lord? Now, you've been implanted with a death mark. The control of your life and death is in my lord's hands. The death mark was a method Xiahou Yuan used to control the demon heads in the past. It could simulate Xiahou Yuan's aura, hovering in the minds of all the demon heads. Once this aura erupted, even a 9th realm peak demon lord would struggle to survive. Of course, the death marks implanted in their foreheads needed to be reinforced by Xiahou Yuan periodically. If not reinforced for a long period, they would dissipate quickly. Of course, no demon head dared to drag out the time, such as hiding in some place and waiting for the death mark to dissipate. Because before the death mark could fade away, Xiahou Yuan needed only a single thought to detonate it. Initially, when Xiahou Yuan was suppressed, the demon heads trembled with fear for a while. But later they realized that Xiahou Yuan, who was trapped on the 18th layer beneath the Great Abyss ground, had long since lost contact with the outside world, unable to even sense, let alone activate the death mark. Years passed, and as the death marks in the depths of all the demon heads' minds dissipated, the fearful hearts finally settled down. Thousands of miles from the stronghold, an escape light rushed forth, faintly exuding the scent of blood. Clearly, the master of the escape light had used some forbidden technique to greatly increase speed, pushing it to the limit. A moment later, the escape light stopped. A plump, middle-aged beautiful woman hovered in the air. Xianxia. The middle-aged beautiful woman's breathing was a bit unsteady, yet her presence still caused the surrounding few miles to fall silent. The wild beasts, as if sensing the aura of a natural predator, curled up in place, not daring to move. Without a doubt, this middle-aged beautiful woman was a ninth realm powerhouse and a demon head of the ninth realm. Yet at this moment, this being capable of ranging freely across the 5 domains still had fear lingering on her face as if she had just escaped from some place of great terror. What exactly happened? Why would Xianxia crush the jade pendant? This middle-aged beautiful woman was one of the demon heads who had intended to encircle and kill Lin Yuan. The girl in the light green skirt had a master. It wasn't entirely accurate to call her a master though, as outsiders had no clue about their actual relationship. Originally, this middle-aged beauty was watching from 100 miles away. However, even as a demon from the ninth realm, it's quite difficult to detect anything across such a distance. Mainly because the middle-aged beauty dared not use any probing or perceptive secret techniques. If Xiahou Yuan discovered her, wouldn't it be like asking for trouble? Yet when the middle-aged beauty sensed the girl in the light green skirt crushing the jade pendant, a feeling of fear instinctively arose within her heart. She didn't get any closer. Instead, she turned in the opposite direction and started to flee for her life, sparing no expense on various secret techniques. There was no helping it. That was Xiahou Yuan. No matter why the girl in the light green skirt crushed the jade pendant, if there was even the slightest possibility it involved Xiahou Yuan, she wouldn't dare to gamble. No, it won't do. I must go and join up with Moyang and the others. The middle-aged beauty steadied her nerves, feeling that it was somewhat unsafe to be alone. She wanted to find others who were also demons of the ninth realm, grouped together for warmth. Especially Moyang Demon Lord, who had reached the peak of the ninth realm 30 years ago. He was even poised to become the new leader of the demonic Tao after Xiahou Yuan's suppression. According to what the middle-aged beauty knew, since Xiahou Yuan emerged from the Great Abyss, Moyang Demon Lord had always been plotting something. If anyone else knew what the middle-aged beauty was thinking, they would be astounded. After all, as a demon lord of the ninth realm, what in the 5 domains and 4 seas could make you feel unsafe? But upon learning that this person was Xiahou Yuan, they would find it perfectly normal again. That was Xiahou Yuan. After subduing Bian Mao, Yin Shirlu, and many other demon heads, Lin Yuan returned to the wooden hut to continue his cultivation. As for the demon heads, they stayed nearby the stronghold, forbidding strangers from getting close. 5th rank. The more Lin Yuan cultivated, the deeper his understanding of the 5th rank became. Having spent 20 years on the 18th level of the Great Abyss ground, Lin Yuan had imagined breaking through to the 5th rank countless times. It's about time. Lin Yuan opened his eyes. He was now fully prepared to make his breakthrough to the 5th rank. All that was left was to start the breakthrough. However, it would be best to change locations before breaking through. Lin Yuan's expression shifted slightly as he scanned his surroundings. Firstly, breaking through to the 5th rank requires a high-quality environment. Well, it's not the environment per se. If Lin Yuan had a few jars of scarlet spirit liquid, he could break through anywhere. The heavenly earth vital energy around the stronghold was indeed much better than that in the Great Abyss, but it still didn't meet Lin Yuan's minimum standard for breaking through. Furthermore, in recent days Lin Yuan clearly sensed a faint feeling of being spied upon. Obviously, his presence here had been noticed by many, and since they didn't dare confront him directly, they kept observing from a distance. Not that Lin Yuan cared about being watched by others. But for the sake of an undisturbed breakthrough, He obviously needed to find a secure and secluded place. Nuan Shu. Lin Yuan called over his protector, Nuan, and expressed his requirements. Yes. Nuan promptly nodded. She had wanted to leave this place for some time. Not only had Lin Yuan sensed the spying, Nuan had also felt that more than one person was observing them from afar. Several days later, Nuan quickly came in front of the wooden hut and upon being granted permission by Lin Yuan, excitedly said, "My lord, I have found a place that absolutely meets the requirements." Oh! Lin Yuan opened his eyes, his face showing surprise. His requirements for Nuan Shu were not low. To meet them would be equivalent to the standards of the major power strongholds. Could such a place be found so easily? Chapter 154 Majestic Magic, please subscribe. What place? Lin Yuan asked directly. He believed in Nuan Shu's ability, and was certain that it would search according to his instructions, without any possibility of cutting corners. Respected Master. Nuan Shu immediately recounted all the information it had gathered. It turned out that ever since 25 years ago, when Lin Yuan was suppressed in the 18th layer beneath the Great Abyss, the Moyang Demon Lord, once a formidable subordinate of Xiahou Yuan at the peak of the 9th realm, began to secretly construct an underground palace. He intended to use this underground palace as a foundation to once again unite the demonic Tao forces of the 5 domains and establish his stronghold. This underground palace was built upon a natural primordial chi vortex. And this primordial chi vortex had reached the rank of sky grade. The so-called primordial chi vortex is a place where the heavenly earth vital energy gathers most densely. And those that reach the rank of sky grade are few and far between across the 5 domains and 4 seas. The Moyang Demon Lord discovered such a primordial chi vortex but never expanded it until Xiahou Yuan was suppressed and lost all hope of emerging, at which point he began to utilize it for his grand ambitions. Unfortunately, despite his lofty goals, the Moyang Demon Lord lacked Xiahou Yuan's nearly terrifying suppression over all other demon chiefs. As such, he was doomed to be unable to command all demon chiefs and could only establish a single demonic Tao force. The construction of the underground palace by the Moyang Demon Lord was exceedingly secretive. If it were not for the fact that Xiahou Yuan had not been suppressed for long when the construction began, and there were still a few demon chiefs with loyalty informing Nuan Shu in secret, it's likely that Nuan Shu would not have been able to find a suitable breakthrough location for Lin Yuan so quickly. It's just... Nuan Shu's face showed some hesitation. The underground palace built by the Moyang Demon Lord is not only secret but also extremely dangerous. It is said that there is more than one sky-ranked demon formation set up. A sky-ranked demon formation is powerful enough to suppress and kill a powerhouse of the 9th realm. If the respected master intends to enter that underground palace, you must be extremely cautious, Nuan Shu said softly. No matter. Lin Yuan's expression remained calm. Several days later, Lin Yuan and Nuan Shu arrived in front of a hill. Bian Mao and many other demon chiefs followed closely behind them. This is the entrance to the underground palace built by the Moyang Demon Lord, Nuan Shu whispered. Heavenly earth vital energy. Lin Yuan faintly sensed a massive primordial chi vortex. However, this primordial chi vortex seemed to be under some sort of seal, not releasing even a trace of primordial chi. This was quite normal. Generally speaking, in the absence of external interference, a primordial chi vortex would slowly release heavenly earth vital energy in all directions. But by doing so, the concentration of vital energy at the vortex's core would decrease. Therefore, as long as the primordial chi vortex has a master, it would be isolated from the outside world to enhance the energy concentration within the area. As this underground palace was the stronghold of the Moyang Demon Lord, there would no doubt be no leakage of primordial chi. This will be sufficient for my breakthrough to the 5th rank. Lin Yuan nodded slightly, clearly satisfied in his heart. Respected master, I will lead the way. Nuan Shu took the initiative, triggered a nearby mechanism, and the hill in front of them suddenly revealed an entrance. Under the hills, within a spacious underground palace, 9 great demon lords gathered in a grand hall, engaged in fierce debate. In principle, as 9th realm demon lords, peak powerhouses of the 5 domains, it was unlikely for them to gather in one place. They were usually scattered across the 5 domains, each presiding over their own territories. Yet now, they were assembled in the palace, arguing with each other. The reason was the matter of Xiahou Yuan leaving the Great Abyss. The 9 demon lords were the capable subordinates of Xiahou Yuan back in his day. After Xiahou Yuan was suppressed, they simply divided up the territory of the former demonic Tao. and they had no intention of rescuing Xiahou Yuan. Rescue Xiahou Yuan? For what purpose? While Xiahou Yuan was in power, these demon lords, who roamed the 5 domains, all had their hands tied. Even the slaughtering of a village for practice was greatly restricted. On the surface, it seemed that Xiahou Yuan led the forces of the demonic Tao in the 5 domains to confront the righteous powers like the Tianjin sect. The influence of the demonic Tao was unprecedented. It was quite a spectacle. But the bitterness of that, only they knew. With Xiahou Yuan around, it was as if a sharp sword hung over the heads of all the demons in the world. They could no longer kill at will in their practice. If Xiahou Yuan hadn't been so terrifying, wielding an incomprehensible suppressing force over the demons, let alone facing the righteous forces like the Tianjin sect in battle, these 9 great demon lords would have rebelled long ago. Xiahou Yuan has emerged. What should we do? What the hell happened with Tianjin? Wasn't it said that escaping the 18 layers of the Great Abyss was as hard as adding wings to a tiger? Useless. First, we need to confirm whether Xiahou Yuan leaving the Great Abyss is true or false. The demon lords questioned each other, and no matter how much they suppressed it, the terrifying aura distinctive of a demon lord burst forth, making it impossible for average 7th realm or 8th realm powerhouses to even approach. Enough! Xiahou Yuan has indeed left the Great Abyss. One of the demon lords spoke up. His eyes were narrow, projecting a kind of soft yet sinister quality. Xianxia, who is stationed outside the Great Abyss, is dead, and so are the guardians. Someone has already performed the soul search. The demon lord paused for a moment before saying again, Xiahou Yuan has indeed emerged. With this statement, the grand hall fell into silence. All the demon lords became silent. Xiahou Yuan had come out. So what should they do now? Continue to watch and wait? Or take the initiative to admit their wrongs? If they continue to watch, what if they provoke Xiahou Yuan? But if they proactively admit fault, would Xiahou Yuan forgive them? The demon lords pondered over and over and felt that no matter what choice they made, the consequences would be difficult to handle. Not only has Xiahou Yuan come out, his strength has at least recovered to the 9th realm. At that moment, a plump and beautiful demon lordess spoke. The 9th realm? How is that possible? A hot-tempered demon lord could not hold back anymore. Not to mention that under suppression, Xiahou Yuan's physical body and primordial spirit had already been sealed by Tianjin and other 9th realm peak powerhouses, and his bones were penetrated with millennium deep-sea fine gold to lock his limbs. Chapter 155, The Vast Magic Power, Subscription Request. _2 being suppressed in the depths of the Great Abyss for 18 layers over 25 years, let alone a 9th realm powerhouse, even those rare 10th realm individuals seen once in tens of thousands of years would find it hard to bear, right? A while ago, I secretly pushed Bien Mao, Yin Shirlu, and other 8th realm pinnacle demons to make a move against Xiahou Yuan. The result? Bien Mao and the others have not contacted me to this day. The plump, beautiful woman spoke. In fact, she had more information that she hadn't mentioned, such as not only Bien Mao and Yin Shirlu but also one of her disciples. Bien Mao, Yin Shirlu. Upon hearing this, the expression of the demon lords present darkened. They had also heard of these rising stars of the demonic Tao. Especially Yin Shirlu, whose assassination techniques were enough to make 9th realm powerhouses wary. It's impossible for ordinary 9th realm individuals to deal with these two quietly. The plump beautiful woman said that Xiahou Yuan had already recovered to 9th realm strength, and she meant no exaggeration. Moyang, why don't you say something? What should we do now? A demon lord frowned, looking towards Moyang demon lord, who was seated at the head. This gathering of demon lords was entirely due to the invitation of Moyang demon lord. When Xiahou Yuan was around, they served under the demon lord as led by Moyang demon lord. After Xiahou Yuan's suppression, the 9 demon lords scattered, but it was Moyang demon lord whose influence was greatest. What to do? Anyway, I don't want to go back to those old days. Moyang demon lord chuckled coldly. The other 8 demon lords, hearing Moyang demon lord's stance, immediately breathed a sigh of relief. It wasn't just Moyang demon lord. None of them wanted that. Moyang, please share your thoughts. The demon lord who started speaking immediately asked. Knowing Moyang demon lord as they did, they were sure he wouldn't speak with such confidence without a solid plan. Xiahou Yuan, coming out from the Great Abyss, will definitely seek revenge against the Tianjin sect. 25 years ago, Xianxia personally sealed Xiahou Yuan. Do you think Xiahou Yuan could endure not avenging this? Moyang Demon Lord countered. Indeed. That Xianxia was no saint either, using by Qing'er, that vile woman, to break Xiahou Yuan's spirit. Now that Xiahou Yuan has emerged, he likely won't trouble us for the time being. But the Tianjin sect is not easy to provoke, and Tianjin is even recognized as the strongest in the world. As Xiahou Yuan seeks revenge against the Tianjin sect, we only need to watch. The demon lords thought along the lines Moyang Demon Lord suggested. They all exhaled in relief. But what if? What if Xiahou Yuan doesn't target the Tianjin sect but comes after us instead? The plump beautiful woman frowned and voiced the concern of many demon lords. Indeed. What if? Xiahou Yuan was a man who never conformed to normal reasoning. What if? Moyang Demon Lord chuckled coldly again. That's exactly why I called you all here. Although the likelihood is small, we still need to consider it. Moyang Demon Lord, having lived for hundreds of years, naturally thought everything through. This underground palace, which took me 20 years to construct, is equipped with 9 sky-ranked demon formations. We 9 demon lords, just by sitting within these 9 formations and utilizing the geographical advantage, can hold off even a 10th realm powerhouse for a while. That Xiahou Yuan will definitely be at a loss against us, and he naturally won't engage with us indefinitely. Even if he does persist, we can secretly contact Tianjin, who I'm certain is very interested in Xiahou Yuan. Moyang Demon Lord asserted with confidence. Being a demon lord, he did not mind cooperating with lawful forces. 9 sky-ranked demon formations? Moyang, you've really gone all out. No wonder I felt a bit oppressed when I entered this underground palace. It was the sky-ranked demon formations. The other demon lords were slightly shocked upon hearing this. They were well aware of the formidable nature of the sky-ranked demon formation. One such formation could potentially suppress a 9th realm powerhouse. What to speak of 9? All right. These are the vital points of the sky-ranked demon formations. Familiarize yourselves with them. Moyang Demon Lord with a thought, sent 8 jade stones to the 8 demon lords. Vital points. Brilliant, these 9 formations are not separate entities, but rather like a whole. As main formation demon lords, with just a thought, we can control the power of the great formation. The 8 demon lords quickly comprehended, overwhelmed with joy. No wonder Moyang Demon Lord was so calm. It turned out he had such a trump card. At this point, the faces of the 8 demon lords finally showed a relaxed smile, their spirits having not been at ease since they learned of Xiahou Yuan's emergence. Just at this moment, a man in black tight-fitting clothes, looking panicked, ran in. Demon Lord, there are people who have intruded. The man in tight clothes was trembling as he spoke, clearly still finding it hard to believe at this moment. Someone has intruded? Moyang Demon Lord's pupils tightened. As the master builder of this underground palace, he had arranged a large number of followers outside, with more than 10 demons from the 8th realm. In such a situation, how could outsiders possibly break in? The underground palace was crisscrossed, suppressed by a sky-ranked great formation, rendering ordinary exploration methods utterly ineffective. Even 9th realm powerhouses could be trapped for a while. What exactly is going on? Moyang Demon Lord was about to inquire. A series of light footsteps sounded. A few demon lords looked up to see a tall woman standing at the doorway. Upon seeing this woman, the 9 demon lords furrowed their brows tightly. Nuan Shu, how come you? Moyang Demon Lord was astonished in his heart. The other 8 demon lords were equally baffled. They naturally recognized Nuan Shu. Back when Xiahou Yuan was still around, Nuan Shu was one of the 36 protectors just below their rank as the 9 great demon lords. Just as Moyang Demon Lord was about to continue asking. Next in Nuan Shu, a tall figure appeared at some unknown time. At the sight of the tall figure, the minds of the 9 great demon lords roared. Xia! Xiahou Yuan? The 9 great demon lords looked as if they had seen a ghost. They were just discussing how to face Xiahou Yuan. Unexpectedly, Xiahou Yuan appeared before them. My lord! Moyang Demon Lord immediately reacted. He bowed slightly to Xiahou Yuan and spoke in a low voice. May I know what brings my lord to this underground palace? Although he was sincerely unwilling to face Xiahou Yuan, Thinking back to the days when he was under Xiahou Yuan's rule, Moyang Demon Lord felt he could struggle a bit. After all, with the strategies Moyang Demon Lord had laid out over the years, including the 9 sky-ranked Great Formations and the 9 Ninth Realm Demon Lords, even facing the former Xiahou Yuan, Moyang Demon Lord was not entirely desperate. This place belongs to me. How about it? Lin Yuan glanced around, sensing the heavenly earth vital energy filling the air, and spoke. My lord, you must be jesting? Moyang Demon Lord's face stiffened. After 20 years of hardship and effort, he had built this underground palace. How could he possibly hand it over so easily? Not to mention, with 9 sky-ranked demon formations inside, Moyang Demon Lord believed himself to be fearless against anyone. If you want, give it. I will come and take it. Lin Yuan stepped forward directly and entered the palace. Attack! Moyang Demon Lord tensed up and without a second word, communicated fully with the sky-ranked demon formation. The other 8 demon lords exchanged looks. At this moment, they all stood on the same side, none wanting to be ruled by Xiahou Yuan again. Boom! From every direction, all around, the air suddenly condensed. An invisible pressure emerged. Streams of demonic qi emanated from all around the Great Hall. 1 birthed 2, 2 birthed 4 birthed 8. In an instant, an endless intertwining of demonic qi followed a specific trajectory, forming a killing formation. However, just as Lin Yuan's right foot stepped on the floor of the inner hall, the previously emerging infinite demonic qi suddenly solidified. Already formed and comprised entirely of demonic qi, the killing formation began to boil as if commanded, all revolving under Lin Yuan's feet, a force far surpassing the previous burst forth explosively. The demonic power was vast. Lin Yuan walked into the inner hall, and the 9th realm peak Moyang Demon Lord had already knelt down, unable to rise, even without knowing why. Facing Lin Yuan at this moment, he couldn't help but continuously bow his head. Lin Yuan walked past one demon lord after another, all prostrated and trembling. He ascended the steps, turned around, and sat on the main seat in the great hall. Leaning slightly, he looked down at the people in the hall who were bowing their heads like pounding garlic. Chapter 156 5th Rank. Please subscribe. Atop the Grand Hall, Lin Yuan sat in the place of honor, his gaze overlooking all, a deity amongst mortals. The 9 heavenly demon formations vibrated ceaselessly. As if they had encountered their master, they finally calmed down after a long while. Xiahou Yuan was extremely special. Among the myriad demons of the world, any who practiced the demonic Tao would have to kowtow upon seeing him. A suppression born of their life essence. Even those with greater strength than Xiahou Yuan would be affected, only the impact was less severe. They wouldn't have to prostrate themselves upon meeting. Of course, only Xiahou Yuan himself was clear on this matter. As for the devil lords and demon lords who had followed Xiahou Yuan, they were oblivious to the subtleties, only sensing an inability to harbor any thoughts of rebellion against him. Moyang Demon Lord and the other 8 great demon lords, believing that with the 9 heavenly demon formations, they could force Xiahou Yuan to retreat, or at the very least, hold him off. But alas, the 9th grade formations were powerful indeed, but they required the devils to control them. As long as it involved these devils, Xiahou Yuan would stand on unbeaten ground. This was also the confidence that underpinned Lin Yuan's decision to enter the underground palace alone. Outside the underground palace, Lin Yuan had long since sensed the auras of those 9 demon lords. Besides, the current Xiahou Yuan was no longer the Xiahou Yuan of the past. With the many methods at Lin Yuan's disposal, he would only be stronger than the original Xiahou Yuan, and certainly nothing untoward would happen. As Lin Yuan, seated in the main seat of the hall, retracted his aura, the 8 demon lords and Moyang Demon Lord all felt a sense of relief. It was as if they had put down a weight of 10,000 catties and could at least regain some control over themselves, no longer compelled, as before, to kneel and knock their foreheads to the ground without restraint. Yet, even then, none of the 9 dared to rise on their own accord, still kneeling with utmost respect and caution. The scene that had unfolded earlier would be hard to forget for the rest of their lives. Especially Moyang Demon Lord, who was acutely aware of that deep-rooted fear from his soul and spirit. Why? It's been 25 years. Moyang Demon Lord trembled in spirit. He had felt this way before Xiahou Yuan 25 years ago. He had thought that, after 25 years, with his strength advanced by half a step, reaching the pinnacle of the 9th realm, and with Xiahou Yuan being suppressed for 25 years, with his flesh bound by millennium deep seabed metal, even if he could emerge, his strength would not be at its peak. Given the change of both sides' circumstances, facing Xiahou Yuan again surely wouldn't be like 25 years ago, would it? But reality gave him a harsh slap in the face. No change. Not the slightest. Whether it was the 9 great demon lords, or initiating the 9 heavenly demon formations, no matter how strong they were, upon seeing Xiahou Yuan, they were like mice before a cat, trembling as they awaited judgment. "We welcome your excellency for breaking the Great Abyss seal," Moyang Demon Lord, steadying his spirit, immediately said respectfully to Lin Yuan sitting in the main seat. He understood that his life hung by a thread. If he did not continue to show his submission, with Xiahou Yuan's former temperament, he surely would not hesitate to kill him. What a joke! The former Xiahou Yuan was decisive in killing, cold and ruthless. Before that great battle of good and evil 25 years ago, nobody would have imagined Xiahou Yuan falling for a woman. "Your Excellency?" The other 8 demon lords took a deep breath and spoke in unison. "We welcome your Excellency for breaking the Great Abyss seal." Lin Yuan, seated in the place of honor, wasn't particularly surprised. The devil lords wouldn't care much for face and dignity. The demon lords were not an exception. Under the pressure of life and death, resubmitting to Xiahou Yuan was only natural. Perhaps life under Xiahou Yuan's rule wouldn't be easy, but if they didn't submit, there wouldn't be any life to speak of thereafter. "All of you rise." Lin Yuan pondered for a moment before speaking directly. For nearly 25 years, all information concerning the 5 domains, particularly that of the Tianjin sect, bring it all to me. Lin Yuan's visit to the underground palace was not only to find a suitable place for breakthrough, but also to consolidate the scattered demonic Tao forces. In any world, even if one were unmatched, acting alone was always somewhat inconvenient. One can't be expected to do everything personally, can they? Lin Yuan's subjugation of the 9 great demon lords and the absorption of the remaining demonic Tao forces required no cost and didn't need to start from scratch. With Xiahou Yuan's deterrence, not a single devil dared to entertain any ulterior motives. 25 years ago, Xiahou Yuan's flesh and primordial spirit were sealed and suppressed in the 18th layer beneath the Great Abyss ground. Those devils didn't even dare to approach, let alone kick a man when he was down. Even the 9th grade demon lords would merely glance from afar, and after confirming that Xiahou Yuan couldn't get out, they would quickly leave. The universal fear of Xiahou Yuan among all devils was evident. "Yes." Moyang Demon Lord slowly stood up respectful. "Your subordinate will retrieve it for your excellency now." Shortly after, Moyang Demon Lord re-entered the grand hall. Following him were several subordinates, carrying a pile of jade stones. "Your excellency, these jade stones contain all intelligence on the situation of the 5 domains. Intelligence on the righteous forces such as the Tianjin sect is right at the front," Moyang Demon Lord respectfully said. Even without Lin Yuan's asking, Moyang Demon Lord paid close attention to the movements of the righteous forces like the Tianjin sect. "Good." Lin Yuan nodded in satisfaction. He then picked up the jade stones and probed them with his mind, swiftly absorbing the information. After a short while, Lin Yuan put down the slabs, his brows slightly furrowed. Moyang Demon Lord presented hundreds of jade stones, meticulously containing intelligence from all quarters of the 5 domains. Among which, Lin Yuan found the information he was interested in. 20 years ago, a sign of good omen suddenly appeared at the mountain gate of Tianjin sect, with a massive convergence of heavenly earth vital energy. Chapter 157 5th rank, please subscribe, _2. 15 years ago, the Tianjin sect's mountain once again gathered heavenly earth vital energy. For the following 2 years, primordial qi within 100 li of the Tianjin sect was scarce. 4 years ago, the Tianjin sect once again gathered heavenly earth vital energy, and all living beings nearby felt as if they were under the pressure of Mount Tai. Numerous pieces of information coalesced in Lin Yuan's mind. The Tianjin sect possessed a large heavenly grade energy vortex, with abundant primordial qi inside the sect, enough for 9th realm cultivators' daily consumption. Despite this, there had still been 5 occurrences when primordial qi within 100 or several hundred li converged towards the Tianjin sect. What did this indicate? It indicated that the primordial qi emitted by the energy vortex was no longer sufficient for the cultivation of a certain entity. 10th realm. Lin Yuan set down the jade stone and had a speculation in his heart. Only the legendary 10th realm could cause such a wide-ranging change in heavenly earth vital energy. Of course, this is not to say that Xianxia had already broken through to the 10th realm. If that were the case, Xiahou Yuan wouldn't have survived past 25 years. A 10th realm powerhouse, even if Xiahou Yuan managed to escape with his primordial spirit, would hardly be able to flee. If Xianxia had become a 10th realm powerhouse, he would have surely come to the Great Abyss in person at the very first opportunity to completely resolve the significant worry that Xiahou Yuan posed. It is only from the changes in heavenly earth vital energy that one can deduce that Xianxia was already attempting to break through to the 10th realm. And he was about to succeed, for the range of the last heavenly earth vital energies coverage had reached nearly 1,000 li. The cultivation speed is quite fast. Lin Yuan stroked his chin. In Xiahou Yuan's memories, 25 years ago, Xianxia was indeed at the peak of the 9th realm, but he was quite far from the 10th realm. However, it's still not as fast as me. Lin Yuan was unconcerned. In the previous 3 worlds he had traversed, as well as in the vast main world, regarding pure cultivation speed, Lin Yuan had never seen anyone stronger than him. Perhaps some higher bloodline, peak bloodline special life forms have a starting point far beyond Lin Yuan, but their subsequent cultivation speed is definitely not as fast as Lin Yuan's. I will break through to the 5th rank first. Lin Yuan felt no pressure whatsoever. If it were the original Xiahou Yuan, the first thing he would do after escaping would probably be to head to the outside of Tianjin-Sek's mountain gate to seek vengeance on Tianjin and to confront Bai Qing'er about her betrayal. However, Lin Yuan wasn't that foolish. With his current power and methods, even if he truly encountered a 10th realm powerhouse, he could still exchange a few moves or even have an equal battle. But there was no need for that. Lin Yuan most disliked evenly matched battles. With his against heaven's understanding, just a few decades of cultivation would be enough to completely surpass the opponent by one or even several great realms, sweeping through all with overwhelming force. Why rush at this moment? The vitality spring beneath this underground palace, where exactly is it? Lin Yuan, sitting in the main seat, suddenly spoke. Reporting to your eminence, subordinates are incompetent and have not found the true core of the energy vortex to this day. Moyang Demon Lord spoke with a tone of shame. The true core of the energy vortex, also known as the vitality spring, is the source of the vortex's energy. However, the vitality spring is concealed underground, surrounded by a vast abundance of heavenly earth vital energy, making it difficult to pinpoint its precise location. After Moyang Demon Lord discovered this energy vortex, he searched for it for decades without success. He then simply stopped searching, built the underground palace, and sealed the energy emitted by the vortex. After all, the vitality spring was beneath the ground and couldn't escape. He could search slowly in the future. Never mind. Today, I will find it for you. Lin Yuan stood up and walked towards the depths of the underground palace. Moyang Demon Lord and the other 8 Demon Lords immediately followed quickly. Your Eminence, wait for me. Nuan Shu immediately stuck close behind Lin Yuan. They walked for an indeterminate amount of time. Can your Eminence really find it? Moyang Demon Lord and the other Demon Lords looked at each other with some doubt. Even for a 10th realm powerhouse, it was very difficult to directly locate the position of the vitality spring. This had nothing to do with power. Around the vitality spring, the heavenly earth vital energy was dense and invisibly suppressed the cultivator's divine sense. Even a 10th realm powerhouse, without the use of divine sense, would be like a blind person searching for the vitality spring underground. No better than a 9th realm cultivator. Just then, Lin Yuan in front suddenly stopped. Your Eminence! Moyang Demon Lord was about to speak, but saw Lin Yuan raise his hand and gently press towards the front right. Boom! A large section of soil collapsed. A dark space was revealed. All could see a milky white spring gushing continuously. The spring was several meters across. It was bottomless, and the surging heavenly earth vital energy was pressurized within the spring water. Upon closer inspection, one would discover that all the water was composed of the highly concentrated heavenly earth vital energy. Moreover, around the spring, several peculiar flowers and herbs were blooming. A vitality spring? Moyang Demon Lord's eyes widened as he instinctively swallowed his saliva. Whether one is a cultivator of the righteous path or the demonic Tao, they can cultivate by absorbing heavenly earth vital energy. However, for practitioners of the demonic Tao, this method is too inefficient. Why bother when directly killing and plundering can achieve faster results? Yet the vitality spring before him was filled with a substantial amount of heavenly earth vital energy, making it a great supplement even for a ninth realm demon lord. This appears to be a mid-sized heavenly grade energy vortex. Not bad at all. With this vitality spring, breaking through to the 5th rank shouldn't be a problem. A smile of joy emerged on Lin Yuan's face. The vitality spring of the Tianjin sect was at least large-sized, a level higher than the vitality spring before Lin Yuan. However, Tianjin Z, aiming for the 10th realm, would not dare to fully absorb the sect's vitality spring, as the future disciples of the Tianjin sect relied on it for cultivation. Therefore, over the past 20+ years, Tianjin Z's attempts at breaking through to the 10th realm involved absorbing the primordial qi within 100 miles or more. This method was slow to show results, but there was no other choice. However, Lin Yuan was different. He had no reservations about using this vitality spring. Moreover, the dozen or so spiritual medicines surrounding the vitality spring are treasures, comparable to 4-star or 5-star cosmic rare treasures. Lin Yuan's gaze grew fervent. I will make my breakthrough here. Lin Yuan made up his mind instantly. It would be a waste not to take advantage of such an excellent location for a breakthrough. As Lin Yuan secluded himself for a breakthrough to the 5th rank, the 5 domains mainland was increasingly affected by the emergence of demon venerable Xiahou Yuan. Xiahou Yuan has emerged, and the world is likely to be in turmoil next. Indeed, if I were Xiahou Yuan, after being suppressed for decades, I would definitely seek fierce revenge upon my release. I wonder when the conflicts of this world will cease. Cease? As long as there are people, it will never stop. 25 years ago, the righteous powers started a great war against the demonic forces under the banner of suppressing Xiahou Yuan to bring peace to the world. But what after that? Xiahou Yuan was indeed suppressed, but there was no peace. Those demon lords became like unshackled madmen. The forces and cultivators of the 5 domains quickly exchanged information. Especially the powers that had participated in the suppression of Xiahou Yuan, they suddenly became panicked, fearing that Xiahou Yuan might target them first after his escape as a way to collect some interest for past events. This won't do. I must go to the Tianjin sect to discuss what we should do next. Right, if it weren't for Tianjin Z, we wouldn't have offended Xiahou Yuan so grievously. Let's go and demand an explanation from Tianjin Z. Cultivators from many different powers, including 9th realm powerhouses, all headed towards the Tianjin sect. Meanwhile, Tianjin sect. Mists swirling, resembling an immortal realm. Suddenly, rumbling sounds, a terrifying aura spread, under which, even the lofty 9th realm practitioners felt uneasy. Sect leader. The sect leader has emerged. The elders of the Tianjin sect, seeing this, became excited and bowed towards the highest peak's palace. Half a month later, the terrifying aura that enveloped the entire palace gradually dissipated, and a man with white hair slowly walked out. Tianjin Z. Greetings, sect leader. Sect leader, you have finally emerged. The numerous disciples of Tianjin sect breathed a sigh of relief. During this time, strong cultivators from the 5 domains came every day, seeking an audience with Tianjin Z, asking how to deal with Xiahou Yuan. If it had just been 1 or 2 people, it wouldn't have mattered. The Tianjin sect, as the foremost power of the 5 domains, with Tianjin Z as the world's strongest, could surely hold its ground. But it wasn't just 1 or 2 people. It was hundreds, 200, several hundred thousands. And they were all leaders of major forces, or even 9th realm powerhouses. Under such circumstances, the Tianjin sect felt overwhelmed. Especially since Tianjin Z, a core figure of the sect, was still in seclusion and could not make an appearance. One could only imagine how much pressure the Tianjin sect had been under during this time. But now, it was all over. Chapter 158 The Demon and the Good Person, Subscription Request. Perhaps most disciples of the Tianjin sect don't realize what Tianjin Z's emergence from seclusion truly signifies. But the vice-sect leaders and elders of the Tianjin sect are well aware that Tianjin Z's emergence may very well be the step taken. Surpassing the 9th realm. Becoming one of the rare 10th realm powerhouses that only appear once every tens of thousands of years. Sect leader. Some elder of the Tianjin sect, looking at Tianjin Z's figure, had reddened eyes. In this generation of the Tianjin sect, at last, another 10th realm was born. With Tianjin Z's emergence from seclusion, strands of an aura superior to that of the 9th realm spread and permeated the area. Within the Tianjin sect, Those powerhouses who came over due to Xiahou Yuan's issue changed their expressions abruptly. More than 10 figures soared into the sky, looking incredulously at Xianxia with his hands behind his back. Xianxia you? These more than 10 figures were naturally ninth realm powerhouses. They had gathered here precisely to wait for Xianxia's response. Xianxia, have you taken that step? An elderly ninth realm powerhouse's voice trembled, unable to refrain from asking. As a ninth realm powerhouse, he naturally could sense that Xianxia's aura had completely transcended the ninth realm. It wasn't just a half step out, and it wasn't just infinitely close. It was a full transcendence. If the ninth realm powerhouses were akin to the moon high up in the sky, looking down at the mortal world, then now Xianxia was like the vast starry heavens, where even the great moon was just a corner in the stars. Indeed. Xianxia nodded slightly, his expression arrogantly proud. We have seen the sect leader of the Tianjin sect. More than 10 ninth realm powerhouses from various major forces took a deep breath and bowed in unison. Since ancient times, there have indeed been beings who surpassed the ninth realm and reached the 10th realm. But over tens of thousands of years, such characters can be counted with one hand, and each one is a legend that has dominated an era. And now, in their era, will another such heaven-defying existence appear? The more than 10 ninth realm powerhouses looked at each other, with mixed feelings in their hearts. The good news was that since Xianxia had taken that step forward, Xiahou Yuan naturally posed no threat. The concern was that now that Tianjin's strength had truly reached the invincible stage, could the major forces of the 5 domains still maintain an equal status with the Tianjin sect? The more than 10 ninth realm powerhouses, along with the cultivators gathered at the Tianjin sect, paid their respects to Tianjin, the newly advanced 10th realm powerhouse. Then they asked how to deal with Xiahou Yuan. Now that I have entered the 10th realm, Xiahou Yuan poses no threat, Tianjin said with a calm smile, and continued. However, Xiahou Yuan is cunning and insidious. If we actively search for him, we might startle the grass and scare the snake. With these words, everyone present nodded in agreement. Indeed. The guy is not a fool. If the forces of the righteous sects attacked proactively, revealing their full confidence, it would undoubtedly scare Xiahou Yuan away. Then Xiahou Yuan might check the reason behind it and, upon learning that Tianjin had broken through to the 10th realm, it would be even less likely for him to present himself willingly. Therefore, in this breakthrough, I used a secret technique to meticulously conceal my aura and prevent the phenomenon of my breakthrough from spreading outside the Tianjin sect. This means that, as of now, only you here are aware that I have stepped into the 10th realm. Tianjin said this, paused for a moment, then continued. To ensure this matter remains a secret, everyone should stay here for the next period of time. In the past, I suppressed Xiahou Yuan, and we developed an enmity as deep as life and death. As soon as he recovers his strength, he will certainly rush over to take his revenge. We only need to wait for him to come to us. Tianjin's expression was one of assured victory. Masterful strategy, sect leader. The others present suddenly understood. With Xiahou Yuan's strength, if he truly wanted to hide, even a 10th realm powerhouse might not be able to find him. The 5 domains mainland is vast and boundless. If Xiahou Yuan were to nestle in some corner, how could a 10th realm powerhouse search for him? But leveraging the enmity between Xiahou Yuan and Tianjin, coupled with concealing the information, enticing Xiahou Yuan to come on his own was indeed the best strategy. By then, even if Xiahou Yuan recovers to his peak, he would still be just a 9th realm in the face of a 10th realm Tianjin, and he probably wouldn't have a chance to struggle. The so-called soul-out-of-body parasitism skill, which poses a threat to 9th realm powerhouses, stands no chance before a 10th realm powerhouse. A single strike could shatter the physical body and primordial spirit to dust. Time passed. Years went by in the blink of an eye. In the underground palace, Moyong Demon Lord and the other 8 Demon Lords were guarding outside the Vitality Spring, to avoid any mishaps while Lin Yuan was in seclusion. I wonder how the revered one is doing in his seclusion? Moyong Demon Lord was somewhat curious. Over these years, he had a clear sense that the concentration of heavenly earth vital energy around him was decreasing at a terrifying rate. The cause was obvious. It was Lin Yuan who was absorbing the Vitality Spring. But the more it was the case, the more unbelievable it was to Moyong Demon Lord because a medium-sized Vitality Spring isn't something common. The daily heavenly earth vital energy emitted by a medium-sized Vitality Spring alone would suffice the daily cultivation needs of several 9th realm experts, and the rapid decline of primordial qi concentration around them clearly indicated that the vitality spring was being voraciously depleted. If it were Moyang Demon Lord, attempting to absorb such a high degree of primordial qi from the vitality spring in such a short period would probably cause his body to burst from the massive primordial qi influx. There's definitely nothing wrong with the revered one. Nuan Shu glanced at Moyang Demon Lord. She placed almost worshipful trust in Lin Yuan. Seeing Moyang Demon Lord mumbling like that, she thought he was harboring some ill intentions again. The heavens can bear witness that I, Moyang, have no second thoughts towards the revered one, Moyang Demon Lord quickly said, although Nuan Shu's cultivation was not nearly as high as his. Chapter 159 The Demon and the Good Person, Subscription Request. _2 But he could not withstand the other party's high standing in the Lord's heart, especially over the past 20+ years, while other demons hesitated. Only Nuan and Situ wholeheartedly devoted themselves to the Lord. In comparison, setting aside demons like Moyang Demon Lord for a moment, the importance of Nuan Shu must have grown significantly in the Lord's heart. If Nuan Shu were to speak ill of him in the Lord's ear, Moyang Demon Lord would really struggle to bear it. At this moment, Moyang Demon Lord was feeling some regret. Had he known the Lord would emerge from the great abyss, he would definitely have been the first to rescue him. Hope so. Nuan Shu coldly snorted again, not pursuing the matter further. Just then, boom. A vast aura surged out from the space where the vitality spring was located, filling the entire underground palace. In front of this aura, even a strong 9th realm limit cultivator like Moyang Demon Lord had to keep retreating, somewhat unable to withstand it. Lord! Has the Lord broken through to the 10th realm? Moyang Demon Lord was shocked. He had already suspected as much when the vitality spring was being heavily consumed. Other than striking at the legendary 10th realm, who else would consume the vitality spring like this? For a cultivator, heavenly earth vital energy is like food, and consuming too much food can burst one's stomach. Only breakthroughs in cultivation will consume massive amounts of heavenly earth vital energy to replenish oneself. The 10th realm. The other 8 demon lords exchanged looks. Since ancient times, the limit for demonic Tao practitioners has been the 9th realm. No demon had ever reached the 10th realm. 25 years ago, if Lin Yuan had broken through to the 10th realm, there would have been no business for Tianjian's sect. The entire 5 domains mainland would have become the domain of the demonic Tao. While Moyang Demon Lord and the others were lost in thought, a tall figure emerged from the space where the vitality spring was located. Lin Yuan appeared, his expression calm, strolling out as if an ordinary person, devoid of any detectable aura. Yet Moyang Demon Lord and the other demons grew even more respectful, recognizing this as the realm of returning to the primordial state. Lord! Moyang Demon Lord followed behind Lin Yuan, towards the hall of the underground palace. Next, Moyang Demon Lord started reporting on recent events as expected. Once finished, Moyang Demon Lord could not help asking, Lord, have you stepped into the 10th realm? As soon as he said these words, everyone perked up their ears. This was about the 10th realm, a domain that all demons from ages past had never entered. Even in the 5 domains mainland, there have been very few 10th realm powerhouses for tens of thousands of years, not exceeding 5 individuals. The 10th realm. Lin Yuan looked down at everyone and shook his head slightly. I am not in the 10th realm. Lin Yuan was indeed not in the 10th realm. He was at the 5th rank. Known as a continent-sinking 5th rank evolver in the main world. As for this world's 10th realm, strictly speaking, it is merely comparable to the transition stage between the 4th and 5th rank. If there must be a comparison, then at least the 11th realm would be equivalent to the 5th rank. 5th rank. Lin Yuan felt the immense power within him. It was a terrifying force capable of breaking continental plates and bringing an apocalyptic end to life on a planet. In the main world, a 5th rank evolver is revered as the strongest being on the surface, and the battle between 2 5th rank evolvers could lead to billions of deaths on a planet. Some powerful 5th rank evolvers could even turn a life planet into a dead star, where life would no longer emerge for tens of thousands of years. Just this world. Lin Yuan fell into thought. The world he was in now was far vaster than a middle-grade life planet in the main world, almost comparable to a higher-grade life planet. Its continental framework was vast and robust. Only at the 5th stage peak could one have the assurance to break through. Take it slow. It's only been 30 years. There's still 170 years left. Lin Yuan was not in a rush. He still had plenty of time before he would leave this world. Not the 10th realm? Moyang Demon Lord was somewhat baffled. Just by the immense aura Lin Yuan emitted during his cultivation, how could he still be in the 9th realm? It should be noted that Moyang Demon Lord himself was at the peak of the 9th realm. Yet even so, he could not endure the aura that Lin Yuan had just released. How could this still be the 9th realm? Moyang could not understand. But Lin Yuan had no reason to deceive him. Since he said he was not in the 10th realm, then he certainly was not in the 10th realm. Could it be a half step into the 10th realm? Moyang Demon Lord could only guess as much. Just a half step into the 10th realm, at most stronger than him. It couldn't possibly reach the point of absolute suppression. Could it? I don't care anymore. Whether the Demon Lord emerged at the 9th realm or the 10th realm, there's no difference to me. Moyang Demon Lord simply stopped overthinking it. Time passed. Half a year went by. One day, Lin Yuan was cultivating. Nuan Shu hurriedly walked in, stopped behind Lin Yuan, and whispered, "My lord, someone is looking for you." "Looking for me?" Lin Yuan opened his eyes. It's... Nuan Shu also seemed to find this person surprising, even inconceivable. "It's the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect." Nuan Shu hesitated for a moment, then whispered, "Jianghu sect." Lin Yuan fell into thought. Jianghu sect was a force in the eastern region, second only to Tianjin sect, a colossal figure renowned across the 5 domains. Each generation of Jianghu sect had 9th realm powerhouses in charge, with a profound foundation. 25 years ago, during the great battle between good and evil, Jianghu sect also contributed to the suppression of Xiahou Yuan. And the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect, although only possessing 8th realm strength, held a high position within Jianghu sect, with even the contemporary 9th realm sect master being his disciple. What did he come for? Lin Yuan's expression grew contemplative. He claims to have crucial intelligence that he will share only with the Demon Lord. However, I think there's something off about this old man. It's very likely a ploy. My lord should not trust him. Nuan Shu spoke softly. "Let him in," Lin Yuan casually remarked. According to Nuan Shu, the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect voluntarily blocked his own meridians to meet him. Otherwise, an 8th realm powerhouse wouldn't just see Lin Yuan, he wouldn't even have been able to come to the entrance of the underground palace. If Nuan Shu hadn't confirmed that the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect posed no threat, she would not have brought him over. A moment later, an old man with white hair and beard entered the great hall. On either side, 9 demon lords cast sideways glances, while a towering figure above on the high podium looked down upon him. "I pay my respects to the Demon Lord." The old man's face remained calm as he slightly bowed to Lin Yuan. "Interesting." A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. A righteous sect Supreme Elder coming to see a demon like me and even bowing? From a status perspective, the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect, upon encountering Xiahou Yuan, wouldn't have restrained himself from attacking right there and then. Bowing? It was nothing short of fantastical. People are ignorant, only knowing that demons thrive in chaos, but you, Demon Lord, are different from the others. The white-haired Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect confidently began to speak. "Is that so?" Lin Yuan slightly shook his head. "I have lived for 400 to 500 years and have seen what the 5 domains were like before the Demon Lord's emergence." The white-haired Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect paused for effect, then added solemnly, 280 years ago, the Demon Lord appeared out of nowhere. And before the emergence of the Demon Lord, the demons of the world held no fear. "Old man, what nonsense are you spouting?" Moyang Demon Lord's eyelid twitched. What the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect said was true. Before Xiahou Yuan's demonic power fully grew, demons rampaged across the 5 domains, often resulting in the slaughter of entire cities and villages. "What exactly are you trying to say?" Sitting on the main seat, Lin Yuan asked calmly. "I want to tell the Demon Lord that the current Tianjin sect has become a battleground of dragons and tigers, and even if you desire revenge, you should not risk your life by going there," the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect said gravely. Upon hearing this, the Demon Lords on both sides were instantly surprised. What had happened? Was this Supreme Elder from Jianghu sect here to deliver a message to the Demon Lord? Actually, 25 years ago, when Tianjin Z wanted to battle the Demon Lord, I advised my disciple against it, but it was futile. Chapter 160. Radiant Yang Spirit and Wandering Een Spirit. Please subscribe. Good person. In both sides of the main hall, Moyang Demon Lord and a host of other demon lords couldn't help but look at each other in disbelief. 4 demon chiefs like them, Xiahou Yuan was certainly no good person. Before the great war between the righteous and the demonic Tao 30 years ago, why did countless demon chiefs obediently follow orders without revolting under Xiahou Yuan's rule over the 5-domain demonic path? Because those who did not obey were all killed by Xiahou Yuan. The supreme elder of Jianghu sect was right in saying one thing. Xiahou Yuan indeed had his hands stained with blood. But most of that blood belonged to these very demon chiefs. Only then did it belong to those powerful figures in the righteous factions. 3 years ago, my disciple went to the Tianjin sect with other sects' powerhouses and has not returned since, and the life fire left at our sect shows no signs of activity. The current Tianjin sect must have gathered more than 70% of the 5 domains powerhouses, and that Tianjin Z must already have at least half a foot into the 10th realm. If the Demon Lord is still planning to seek revenge against that Tianjin Z, think carefully. The Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect continued. He did not know that Tianjin Z had already become a strong figure of the 10th realm and was now in the Tianjin sect, waiting like a spider for its prey, waiting for Xiahou Yuan to come seeking revenge. It was only because of his sharp intuition and the lack of any news from his disciple for such a long time that he felt something was amiss. He speculated that Tianjin sect might have set a trap, waiting for Xiahou Yuan to arrive. 30 years ago, he did not stop his disciple, leading to the great war between righteous and demonic forces, with Xiahou Yuan being suppressed and the demon chiefs of the 5 domains losing their shackles, allowing the myriad demons in the world to act without inhibition once again. This time, the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect felt he should do something. At the very least, Xiahou Yuan must not be suppressed again. The thoughts of the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect towards Xiahou Yuan, the legendary demon chief, were exceedingly complex. Coming over alone to tell Xiahou Yuan these things was undoubtedly a betrayal of Jianghu sect and a betrayal of the righteous forces. But as long as the situation for the beings of the 5 domains improved slightly, bearing a bit of infamy didn't matter. Are you finished? Lin Yuan's expression was calm. I'm finished, the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect said candidly. Take him away and keep him confined. Lin Yuan waved his hand, signaling to Nuan Shu. Yes. Nuan Shu nodded. Immediately, he led the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect away. What do you all think? Lin Yuan looked around at the various demon lords. Lord, what this old man said makes some sense, Moyang Demon Lord said after pondering for a moment, aware from the intelligence he held that years ago, a large number of powerhouses from the 5 domains had indeed gone to Tianjin sect. As for their purpose, it could mostly be guessed that it was due to Xiahou Yuan breaking free from his shackles. Nevertheless, being merely a demon chief, Moyang Demon Lord certainly didn't understand the righteous forces like Tianjin sect better than the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect. In that case, do not send anyone near Tianjin sect for the time being, Lin Yuan said. Actually, even if the Supreme Elder of Jianghu sect had not come to warn him, Lin Yuan would never foolishly rush to Tianjin sect seeking revenge. Xiahou Yuan might have done such a thing, but Lin Yuan was not Xiahou Yuan. Lin Yuan anticipated that Tianjin Z had already reached the 10th realm, and being in his own territory within the Tianjin mountain sect, he could manipulate the preparation left by ancestors, which fully qualified him to be regarded as a peak 10th realm or simply an 11th realm powerhouse. Lin Yuan wouldn't consider revenge until he cultivated to the 13th realm. And the 13th realm probably corresponds to the 5th rank, between the 4th and 6th stages. Underground Palace. In front of the Vitality Spring, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Compared to years ago, when it was a medium-sized premier Vitality Spring gushing out with a volume of several meters in diameter, the current Vitality Spring had shrunk several times and was merely half a meter in diameter. In truth, if the Vitality Spring were not connected to the Earth's veins and constantly drawing in primordial chi from hundreds of thousands of miles of Earth veins, it probably would have dried up. It's fine, Lin Yuan glanced at the Vitality Spring. After breaking through to the 5th rank, his need for heavenly Earth vital energy had significantly decreased. Now, this evidently regressed small Vitality Spring was still sufficient for him. 5th rank. Lin Yuan's consciousness submerged into the Naiwan Palace at the center of his forehead. There he saw a phantom figure sitting cross-legged at the center of a galaxy made of vast amounts of power of Tai Yin and Tai Yang. This phantom figure, identical to Lin Yuan, sat in the center of the galaxy, resembling an ancient deity. Primordial spirit. At that moment, the phantom figure suddenly opened its eyes, deep in thought. The phantom was Lin Yuan's primordial spirit, condensed from a tremendous amount of soul power. Of course, primordial spirit was the term used in this world. In the main world, they would call this phantom figure a spiritual body, soul body, and so on. The primordial spirit, being condensed from the essence and spirit of the soul, lacked material form, which is why it was terrifyingly fast when wandering outside the body. However, without the protection of the physical body, the primordial spirit was much more vulnerable. There are still flaws. Lin Yuan's primordial spirit carefully sensed its own condition. He had based his path on the way of Taiji, but at this point, the way of Taiji within his divine body was not very conspicuous. Or rather, the power of Tai Yin and power of Tai Yang had completely fused into one and could no longer be separated, which Lin Yuan found somewhat unsatisfactory. The martial path, evolutionary path he pursued, allowed control over gathering and dispersing at will, so how could there be a way that only allowed gathering and not dispersing? Continue to refine it. Lin Yuan was not discouraged and focused on cultivation. For pioneers like Lin Yuan, every step taken was into the unknown, requiring continual development and perfection. If he was not satisfied with the primordial spirit, then he would continue to focus on the primordial spirit. If not satisfied with the physical body, then focus on perfecting the physical body. Where there was dissatisfaction, there lay the focus of his attention. Chapter 161. Radiant Yang Spirit and Wandering Yin Spirit. Please subscribe. _2. Time passed. Another 5 years went by. With the way of Taiji as its foundation, the way of Shen Huang as its framework, and countless evolution paths as its flesh, Taiji primordial spirit emerge. Within the Naiwan Palace at Lin Yuan's Glabella, an endless galaxy composed of Tai Yin and Tai Yang energies, the primordial spirit sat in the center, suddenly transforming into two distinct colors of Yin and Yang. Immediately after, the primordial spirit separated into two figures. One figure was shrouded in the Yin energy of Tai Yin, its face indistinct. The other figure was enveloped in the bright energy of Tai Yang, its eyes radiant. This is the primordial spirit I desired. The two primordial spirits gazed at each other. In fact, these two figures, rather than being called primordial spirits, would be more appropriate to term as Yin God and Yang Spirit. To be precise, when divided, they are the Yin God and Yang Spirit. When combined, they are the Taiji primordial spirit. Yin God, Yang Spirit. In the outside world, Lin Yuan opened his eyes. With a mere thought, the Yin God and Yang Spirit separated from the body. They sat opposite Lin Yuan's original form. Does this count as triumph division of the one Qi? Lin Yuan's consciousness split into three, looking at the three versions of himself, a strange expression on his face. Since they all shared the same consciousness, Lin Yuan felt as though head opened three perspectives at this moment. No matter if it's the Yin God or the Yang Spirit, since they are made from the power of the soul, and aren't restricted by a physical body, they naturally can change their size at will. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Lin Yuan speculated, with the current strength of his Yin God and Yang Spirit, if he were to let go completely, they could probably reach a size of 10,000 zhang. Yin God of 10,000 zhang. Yang Spirit of 10,000 zhang. At the underground palace hall, Nuan Shu sat at the position below the main seat, frowning in thought. During Lin Yuan's seclusion, the many affairs of the demonic Tao were all decided by Nuan Shu. None of the 9 demon lords had any complaints, nor dared to have any. It's almost 10 years. Why has there been no news from Situ the Protector? Nuan Shu's expression showed a trace of worry. Situ the Protector, like Nuan Shu in past years, was one of the 36 protectors under the Demon Lord. He was also just as loyal to the Demon Lord as Nuan Shu. After Xiahou Yuan was suppressed at the 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, Nuan Shu convened the remaining demon followers loyal to the Demon Lord, thinking of ways to rescue the Demon Lord. Meanwhile, Situ the Protector infiltrated the Tianjian sect, providing support to Nuan Shu by passing on intelligence from outside. In the era when the Demon Lord ruled over the demons of the 5 domains, Situ the Protector was renowned for his ability to transform and conceal his qi. With Sidus methods, if he fully exerted himself to conceal and transform his qi, even a 9th realm powerhouse would not detect him. Thanks to this skill, Situ the Protector did well inside the Tianjian sect and gained access to a lot of intelligence. Before Xiahou Yuan emerged from the Great Abyss, Nuan Shu led the remaining demon followers in avoiding the encirclement and assassination attempts by the righteous forces several times, largely due to the information passed on by Situ the Protector. It was because of Situ the Protector's support within the Tianjin sect that Nuan Shu and the other demons survived through that most difficult time. After Lin Yuan emerged from the Great Abyss and took over the underground palace, subduing the 9 demon lords once again, Nuan Shu then sent word to Situ the Protector, telling him to return and that he no longer needed to hide in the Tianjin sect, fraught with danger. However, up to the present, Nuan Shu had not received any response from Situ the Protector. Could he have been discovered by the Tianjin sect? Nuan Shu speculated in her heart but then shook her head, dismissing the idea. She held Situ the Protector's life fire, which indicated his life and death. Given Situ the Protector's loyalty to the Demon Lord, if discovered by the Tianjin sect, he would definitely commit suicide without hesitation. Even if he didn't commit suicide, if captured alive by the Tianjin sect, they wouldn't leave him alive after a soul search. Either outcome would certainly extinguish Situ the Protector's life fire. Since the life fire was still burning, it indicated that Situ the Protector was safe for the time being, at least still alive. Hopefully nothing untoward happens. Nuan Shu sighed. Over the years, Situ the Protector had risked his life hiding within the Tianjin sect to rescue the Demon Lord. Now that the Demon Lord had returned, if he could come back alive, his status would at least be no lower than hers. Tianjin sect. Mists drifted aimlessly. It was like an immortal realm. A middle-aged man with an honest face walked along the mountain path, his gaze betraying a hint of anxiousness. Tianjin has broken into the 10th realm, yet he deliberately seals off all information. Hiding within the gates of the mountain with other powerful figures from the 5 domains, he must be trying to lure the revered figure to come here on his own initiative. The man with the honest face thought to himself in silence. He was none other than Situ, the Protector, who had been hiding his true identity within the Tianjin sect for decades, treading on thin ice until today. Although he was but a disciple and had not taken part in Tianjin's secretive discussions with the powerful fighters of the 5 domains, he had guessed quite a bit from all the abnormalities revealed by the Tianjin sect over the years, and the terrifying aura that had pervaded a decade ago. No, this won't do. I must get out. And tell the revered figure not to come to Tianjin sect at all costs. Situ, the Protector, steadied his spirit and began to ponder carefully. Other than delivering the crucial information, Situ was even more aware that his identity could not be concealed for much longer. In recent years, Tianjin's dreadful sensory perception had enveloped the entire Tianjin sect multiple times, brushing past Situ on several occasions. Situ had a feeling that if this happened a few more times, Tianjin might very likely detect something unusual about him. Sida's skill at concealing his presence could fool someone of the 9th realm, but for someone like Tianjin who was of the 10th realm, if it weren't for his good performance in recent years and Tianjin not paying close attention to him, his identity would have likely been exposed several years earlier. Situ did not fear death, but what he feared was that upon his death, the revered figure would fall into the schemes of Tianjin's sect. "I'll have to try that secret passage," Situ made up his mind. Tianjin, in hopes of a successful ambush, had the whole Tianjin sect sealed off, forbidding anyone to enter or leave. Situ, like any other disciple, was no exception. It wasn't simply the blocking of all exits, but over the years, Situ had discovered a hidden path leading outside. It was just uncertain whether it could escape Tianjin's perception. However, Situ now had no choice. He could only take the risk and try. At the summit of Tianjin Peak, Tianjin and the other powerful beings all showed signs of impatience. 10 years had passed. A full decade they had been lying in wait here. Yet Xiahou Yuan just wouldn't take the bait and had not come to seek revenge. If it weren't for those present who had personally experienced the righteous demonic battle 3 or 4 decades earlier, and knew how Bai Qing'er had broken Xiahou Yuan's spirit, a feud that could only end with the death of one side, they would perhaps have suspected that Xiahou Yuan had already abandoned his vendetta. "Sect leader, what exactly is going on with Xiahou Yuan?" one of the 9th realm powerhouses asked in a low voice. Having come to the Tianjin sect and stayed for 10 years, his own forces must have been affected. "Yes, sect leader. Is Xiahou Yuan coming or not? If not, we're leaving." The other powerhouses in the area spoke out one after another. Although they hadn't been treated badly at the Tianjin sect, everyone had families and forces that needed managing and overseeing. Being absent for a whole decade was unacceptable to anyone. It was only because of Tianjin's high prestige as a once in tens of thousands of years 10th realm being that the others had not yet left. Everyone, please be patient. Tianjin opened his eyes, his expression calm as he said, "The later he comes, the more it suggests that Xiahou Yuan has been seriously injured. If you cannot even wait for 10 years, how can we talk about dealing with Xiahou Yuan?" At this, Tianjin paused for a moment, then continued, "However, I believe that Xiahou Yuan should be arriving soon." Tianjin's words, like a calming anchor, gave the others a great deal of confidence. "Well then, if the sect leader says so, we will wait a few more years. True, honestly, unless I see Xiahou Yuan's corpse, I won't dare leave." "Ha ha ha, well said." The expressions of the many powerhouses relaxed, and on second thought, staying within the Tianjin sect was not too bad, especially since it supplied heavenly earth vital energy superior to that of their own forces. Tianjin glanced at the many powerhouses. He too was somewhat anxious, but letting go of this opportunity and allowing the powerhouses to leave would likely lead to the news of his breakthrough to the 10th realm being leaked. Then how could Xiahou Yuan possibly dare to come? Just as Tianjin was about to speak again, suddenly, Tianjin's brows furrowed. He looked towards a certain area outside the mountain gate. Chapter 162 Welcoming the Demon Lord Back to the Five Domains. Please subscribe. Compared to the champions of the 9th realm, the champions of the 10th realm had substantially heightened perception. Take Tianjin for instance. Should he choose, his divine sense could envelop the entire Tianjin sect. During the period when the mountains were sealed, Tianjin, to ensure absolutely no leakage of information, covered it constantly with his own divine sense. Under such a method, even if a mere fly were to leave the range of the Tianjin sect, Tianjin would be aware. And just moments ago, Tianjin keenly sensed a very weak presence, quickly leaving the Tianjin sect through a secret passageway. Humph. Seeking death. Tianjin sneered. Immediately, under the shocked gazes of the other strong ones, Tianjin raised his right hand and flicked his finger. Boom. A terrifying sword intent gathered, turning into a palm-sized little sword, which only appeared for a moment, then vanished from its original place. At the edge of the Tianjin sect's mountain gate, Situ, extremely cautious, desperately concealed his aura, walking quickly forward. Almost. Just a little more, and he'll have left the Tianjin sect. Saida's breathing was almost imperceptible. Suddenly, a terrifying sword intent locked onto him. Not good. Saida's expression drastically changed. His speed suddenly surged in an attempt to dodge the sword intent. But it was already too late. The strike of a 10th realm champion was not something easily avoided. Swoosh. A palm-sized little sword suddenly pierced through Saida's chest. Saida's eyes widened. He could feel his life force draining away at a terrifying rate. Tiny fragments of dreadful sword intent continuously stirred through his chest, shattering his limbs and primordial spirit. I can't die. Saida's eyes were bloodshot. In a daze, he seemed to see the tall man who picked him up from a city filled with corpses over 200 years ago. Back then, the demon lord was in his prime, snapping his fingers and annihilating many strong ones, while he himself was in rags, lowly as dust. If not for the demon lord, he would have died long ago. If not for the demon lord, he would not have his today. In the blink of an eye, more than 200 years had passed, and everything from the past seemed like a dream. Before I meet the Lord, I cannot die. Situ suddenly erupted with a fierce will to live and without hesitation triggered the forbidden demonic Tao technique Dismantling Burning God skill. Once activated, the Dismantling Burning God skill would uncontrollably incinerate his physical body, primordial spirit, and everything else, until completely turning into nothingness. Meanwhile, the user would endure unimaginable pain. Of course, the effects were also very good, as during this forbidden technique, the user's speed would increase 10-fold or even 100-fold. And as time passed, the more the physical body and primordial spirit burned, the faster the speed would become. In fact, almost all demon lords, preferring to die by their own hands, would not activate this forbidden technique. After all, once the Dismantling Burning God skill was activated, it could not be reversed, and the physical body, primordial spirit, and everything else would quickly dissolve into nothingness. That is to say, once this forbidden technique was activated, even if one escaped death initially, one was still destined to die. Before death, one would still have to endure the endless pain caused by the burning of one's own body. So this forbidden technique was somewhat like a double-edged sword. Although widely known, it was rarely seen used by any demon lord. What's the point? At Tianjian Main Peak, Tianjianzi seemed to perceive something, a look of surprise crossing his face. The dismantling burning god's skill? Tianjianzi naturally sensed the aura of this forbidden technique. After a moment of thought, Tianjianzi decided to let Situ, the protector, leave. Firstly, once this forbidden technique had been deployed, death was inevitable, and Situ, the protector, had already sustained a strike from him earlier and could hardly last much longer. Secondly, even if Tianjianzi wanted to pursue, it wasn't certain he could catch up. In just these few moments, Situ, the protector, had already fled hundreds of miles away, his speed becoming faster and faster, nearly out of control. Even if Situ wanted to stop, he couldn't, and eventually, he would turn into nothingness at high speed. Therefore, there was no need to pursue. Merely an ant. No need to pay attention. Tianjianzi slightly shook his head, addressing the curiosities of other powerful figures on the scene. His sudden action naturally drew the gaze of these powerful figures, and now, an explanation was also appropriate. Deep inside the Tianjian sect, a beautiful valley. Bai Qing'er sat on a giant rock, her white and delicate legs gently swinging, causing ripples to spread. Big brother Xiahou, will you come to find me? Bai Qing'er's gaze was directed towards the Tianjian main peak. She naturally was aware of Tianjian's scheme, and at this moment, Bai Qing'er was extremely conflicted. She hoped for Xiahou Yuan to come because it would mean that Xiahou Yuan still had feelings for her. Even if it was hatred, it was still an emotion. However, with Tianjian's scheme, if Xiahou Yuan dared to come near, he was undoubtedly doomed to die. Bai Qing'er now hoped Xiahou Yuan would not die. Big brother Xiahou, if you do come, I will plead with the sect leader to leave your whole body. Then you would always be with Qing'er, Bai Qing'er murmured to herself, a happy smile appearing on her face. Next to the palace of Earth Spirit Spring, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, still cultivating and pursuing enlightenment, nearly all his time in each traversed world devoted to cultivation. As for enjoyment? With his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan was always bursting with spiritual light, making progress every moment in his cultivation and understanding of the Tao and the world. For Lin Yuan, this was the greatest pleasure. Xianhuang. Lin Yuan delved into the Xianhuang evolutionary path. By now, he had reached the 5th stage section in this evolution path. However, just for that reason, the difficulty of further comprehension skyrocketed. After all, Lin Yuan was already at the 5th rank, and comprehending the 4th and 3rd ranks below, from a higher vantage point, even without against heaven's understanding, would still be somewhat effective. Chapter 163 Welcoming the Demon Lord Back to the 5 Domains. Please subscribe. 2. The Tao of Xianhuang is the Tao of heaven and earth. Lin Yuan contemplated carefully, often observing the natural world and integrating it with his own verification. The martial path evolutionary path could indeed be improved further, if Yin God, Yang spirit, and Taiji primordial spirit cannot be perfected, then perfect the physical body. As Lin Yuan cultivated, the aura emanating from him became obscure and complex, as if transforming into a black hole or resembling the black and white patterns of a Taiji symbol. Suddenly, the aura around Lin Yuan surged. As if he had transcended some kind of shackles, his physical vitality and his soul and spirit both rose. 5th rank, 3rd segment. Lin Yuan breathed out gently, a smile appearing on his face. Compared to the current world's cultivation system, 5th rank, 3rd segment, would roughly equate to the 12th realm peak, infinitely close to the 13th realm. 12th realm peak. Infinitely close to the 13th realm. Heaven would have pity. If the other cultivators of this world knew of this, they would probably feel ashamed enough to hit the wall. For tens of thousands of years, the strongest were merely at 10th realm. As for the 11th realm? Probably only in the ancient times did such a level appear. The 12th realm was even unheard of. But Lin Yuan was already starting to touch upon the 13th realm. Wait a few more years, until I fully step into the 13th realm, then I'll flatten Tianjian's sect. Lin Yuan's thoughts were calm, thinking to himself. Although he wasn't Xiahou Yuan, since his consciousness had descended into this body, some cause and effect naturally needed to be resolved. Besides, even if Lin Yuan wanted to laugh off past grudges, it would depend on whether Tianjian's sect was willing. According to the intentions of the Supreme Elder from Jianghu sect, Tianjin sect and many powerhouses from the 5 domains were secretly plotting against him, Xiahou Yuan. The rules of this world. Lin Yuan looked up, observing his surroundings. Although it was not as efficient as in the divine arms world, where one could directly observe the manifested fundamental rules of divine weapons. But comprehending the rules of this world at least proved to be much stronger than the main world. The origin source of the main world is powerful, its rules well established and operating to perfection, which makes it extraordinarily difficult for evolvers to comprehend the essence of these rules. Yet in worlds that he traversed with a weaker origin source, even though the rules were not substantial, Lin Yuan could comprehend them here and then go back to slowly make up for it in the main world. I've heard that within some cosmic secret realms, independent of the main world, the operation of rules is explicitly revealed, and comprehending the rules there is far more efficient than in the outside world. As the 13th disciple of Qikuan Starlord, Lin Yuan already had access to high-end information from the main world. This included the cosmic secret realms. Cosmic secret realms, similar to minor worlds, come in many varieties, with some even inhabited by powerful beings. Each cosmic secret realm is a treasure of human civilization, especially those with explicitly revealed rules suitable for rule comprehension, which are rare treasures indeed. In the future, I can ask the teacher about the cosmic secret realms. Lin Yuan thought to himself. As long as Lin Yuan continues to reveal his talent and capabilities, there's no fear that human civilization will not pour resources his way, such as the treatment for geniuses. With 3 goddesses present, a genius at most would only hide their identity, never suffering any repression or targeting. The next day, Lin Yuan ended his cultivation, sitting atop the main seat of the Great Hall, listening to the reports from Nuan Shu and 9 demon lords. Honored one, there has been no news from Tianjin sect so far. From the 5 domains, demon chiefs are continuously coming to submit, but so far, there are no demons of the 8th realm and above pledging allegiance. Nuan Shu spoke swiftly. Lin Yuan sat leisurely upon the primary seat, listening casually. As to why no demons of the 8th realm and above had come, Lin Yuan naturally understood. These demon chiefs dominated territories, claiming to be kings and warlords. Why would they come to serve under Lin Yuan? A few years ago, when Lin Yuan took over the underground palace, he subdued the Moyang demon lord and other 9 ninth realm demon lords with swift decisiveness, offering no chance for these 9 to escape. Naturally, this was also related to the fact that Lin Yuan had hardly shown himself in action in front of others since leaving the Great Abyss Ground. The only time was outside the Great Abyss Ground when he crushed Xianxia, a peak 8th realm powerhouse, with one hand. But after that, whether it was subduing young generation demon chiefs like Bian Mao or the 9 demon lords like Moyang demon lord, the news did not spread out. This caused the outside world's demon chiefs to start hesitating. These wastes, the honored one is already out, and yet they do not come to pay homage. They all deserve to die. Moyang demon lord and the other 9 demon lords felt somewhat bitter, then became furious. They had already submitted, so why were those weaker 8th realm demons still roaming free? Nuan Shu stood by the side, about to speak. Suddenly, Nuan Shu's expression subtly changed. Honored one, there is a change in the life fire. Nuan Shu looked immediately at Lin Yuan. Let's go take a look. Lin Yuan remained composed. Nuan Shu quickly left the hall. Before long, Nuan Shu held a candle in her hand. At this moment, the candle's flame was so weak, flickering slowly as if it might go out at any time. This is Citus life fire. Nuan Shu's expression was grave. Situ, the protector? Moyang demon lord and a few other demon lords glanced at Lin Yuan from the corner of their eyes. It was well known that Nuan and Situ were the 2 most loyal to Xiahou Yuan. Even though Xiahou Yuan had been suppressed in the 18th layer of the Great Abyss Ground, these 2 had done everything possible to rescue him. Especially Situ, the protector, who had even ventured into the Tianjin sect to gather more information, perhaps. It's Situ. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly solemn as he looked towards the candle in Nuan Shu's hand, the one that could go out at any time. In Lin Yuan's sight, the aura of the candle started to spread, connecting with a certain location in the distance. Situ is now within 100 miles. Lin Yuan stood up. The candle in Nuan Shu's hand flew up into the air, landing in Lin Yuan's hand. The protector Situ has returned? Nuan Shu was slightly startled, not quite understanding. As far as she knew, Wasn't Situ, the protector at the Tianjin sect? If he had escaped from the Tianjin sect, he would have sent a message ahead of time. He has already arrived. Lin Yuan caught the life fire and vanished on the spot. Outside the underground palace, a meteor was speeding towards the spot. If one looked carefully, they would notice that the meteor had almost faded into nothingness, with just a bit of spiritual soul force still burning. Whoosh! Lin Yuan appeared before the meteor. If it were anyone else, even peak powerhouses of the 9th or 10th realm, they would have difficulty blocking this meteor. Because the speed of this meteor had reached an extreme, surpassing the full speed run of 10th realm powerhouses. Yet with a push of Lin Yuan's right hand, the meteor came to a halt in its place. Rise! Lin Yuan's brows were tightly knotted. This meteor was none other than Situ, the protector. At this time, his physical body and flesh had long been burned to nothing, leaving only a sliver of primordial spirit force hanging on. Condense! Lin Yuan's thoughts moved ever so slightly. A vast amount of heavenly earth vital energy gathered. Continuously turning into a gentle breath, it was infused into the meager remnants of Saita's primordial spirit. Instantly, around the center of this sliver of primordial spirit force, a phantom figure rapidly coalesced. However, one could see the phantom figure taking shape, only to continue burning away. Your Excellency. Situ, the protector, wore a pained expression, regaining a trace of consciousness as if he felt Lin Yuan's true strength, and his face showed a hint of relief. Suddenly, Saita's lips moved, and he spoke a few words. At this moment, Nuan Shu and Moyang Demon Lord arrived outside the underground palace and witnessed this scene. A moment later, Lin Yuan once again gathered heavenly earth vital energy. However, the burning speed of Situ, the protector, accelerated more and more rapidly. Ultimately, Saita's face displayed a look of resignation and relief, and he completely dissipated into nothingness under the endless burning. Lin Yuan stood in place, seemingly in thought, motionless. Gathering her courage, Nuan Shu stepped closer, cautiously asking, "Your Excellency, what did Situ the protector say at the end?" Naturally, Nuan Shu was aware that Situ, the protector's entire body burning was the signature of the dismantling burning god skill. Wasn't it said that the use of this forbidden technique was excruciatingly painful? Why did Situ, the protector, end up smiling at the end? He said 2 sentences. Lin Yuan spoke in an even tone. The first sentence had 12 characters. In death, to have seen your Excellency, I die without regrets. Lin Yuan floated in the air, his sleeves billowing, as he reviewed Xiahou Yuan's memories, revisiting every detail about Situ, the protector. So it was that little beggar. Lin Yuan's thoughts receded as he looked up towards the Tianjin sect, then turned and went back to the underground palace. The second sentence had 8 characters, awaiting the demon lord's return to the 5 domains. Chapter 164 The Great Movements of Heaven and Earth. The Child of Destiny. The dismantling burning god skill is known as a forbidden technique. Once employed, it cannot be reversed. The physical body and primordial spirit will quickly burn out, turning into nothingness. Actually, this description isn't entirely accurate. Irreversible. That part is correct. Even Lin Yuan would find it difficult to forcibly stop it. Using heavenly earth vital energy to recreate the primordial spirit is merely a transient solution, merely prolonging the endless suffering of the caster. Thus just now, Lin Yuan allowed Situ, the protector, to burn into oblivion. But the last statement, that every aspect of the physical body and primordial spirit would burn out, is not accurate. At least after Situ, the protector, turned to nothingness, Lin Yuan had already preemptively captured a strand of pure spiritual power. In the underground palace, beside the vitality spring, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. In front of him, a strand of pure spiritual power floated. Outside the spiritual power, Tai Yin and Tai Yang merged into Taiji, isolating heaven and earth, completely separating this strand of pure spiritual power from the outer macrocosm. Without such a method of isolating heaven and earth, this strand of pure spiritual power would have dissipated the moment it was exposed. The current cultivators believe that the dismantling burning god skill burns everything of the physical body and primordial spirit, and that's also correct. Because apart from Lin Yuan, nobody could capture this strand of pure spiritual power. Even if they were at the peak of the 12th realm, or were even unprecedented 13th realm powerhouses, they would almost certainly be unable to do it. This isn't a matter of strength. It's about how systems of cultivation and personal methods combine. Lin Yuan's martial path evolutionary path, integrating myriad paths, is perfect in every aspect. As for other cultivators, they simply could not have the encounters and experiences of Lin Yuan, nor the against heaven's understanding to achieve integration. Hence they remain at the 9th realm, 10th realm. This strand of pure spiritual power, could it be something essential like a true spirit? Lin Yuan thought to himself. For Lin Yuan, as long as the essence of the true spirit remains, he wouldn't consider it true death. How should I nurture it? Lin Yuan fell into thought. This essence of the true spirit is extremely fragile. If nurtured directly with heavenly earth vital energy, it would turn to ash in the next moment. Let's foster it in the 5-colored lotus for now. Lin Yuan's mind slightly moved, slowly integrating this essence of the true spirit into a nearby lotus displaying 5 colors. The 5-colored lotus, a rare spiritual plant of this realm. When Lin Yuan discovered this vitality spring, there were more than a dozen extraordinary flowers and herbs nearby, including the 5-colored lotus. When Lin Yuan advanced to the 5th rank, he consumed most of these extraordinary flowers and herbs, with only a few like the 5-colored lotus remaining. The 5-colored lotus has a mild nature and is miraculous in nurturing spirits. It is perfectly suitable for fostering the extremely fragile essence of the true spirit. Accompanied by the essence of the true spirit of Situ, the protector, merging into the 5-colored lotus, Lin Yuan distinctly felt the essence of the true spirit stabilized, and immediately began to slowly draw on the medicinal power of the 5-colored lotus, gradually growing stronger. Good. After nurturing it for a few years, this strand of true spirit essence should recover to the strength of a normal person. Lin Yuan slightly nodded. Once it reached that stage, the consciousness of Situ, the protector, would naturally revive. The rest was merely about finding a suitable body for him. Well, Lin Yuan looked at the 5-colored lotus in front of him. Indeed, no need to search for a body. Isn't this 5-colored lotus the best carrier right now? Lin Yuan's face showed a hint of unusual color. With the vision of the main world universe starry sky, Lin Yuan understood that life is definitely not limited to the human race. In the vast boundless main world universe starry skies, aside from the human race, many other powerful peak races exist. They might be plant life, elemental life, energy life, etc. Given that this 5-colored lotus, if Situ the protector, could embrace all aspects of the 5-colored lotus, it would definitely be a great opportunity. Not to mention, life forms like these plants are famous for their longevity. Of course, even if Situ the protector couldn't accept it, it wouldn't be a problem with Lin Yuan around. It would merely be about finding another suitable body. Time slowly passed. Before long, several years had elapsed. Lin Yuan had hardly ever left the underground palace, always immersed in cultivation and enlightenment. Heaven and earth. Lin Yuan appeared thoughtful, feeling faintly that this realm's heaven and earth were extremely vast, seemingly not just limited to the 5 domains. Could it be beyond the 5 domains, there are new great realms and continents? Lin Yuan pondered. Before his transition, he had split a thread of his consciousness to roughly observe the overall view of this realm, catching only a fleeting glimpse without paying much attention, only seeing the most conspicuous 5 continents. However, the fortunes of this heavenly and earthly realm are clearly beginning to burgeon. Is it due to my influence? Lin Yuan's thoughts shifted. The so-called fortunes of heaven and earth are profound and more profound. Lin Yuan had crossed 3 or 4 worlds before he somewhat understood this. To summarize, it can be said that when time and tide are right, all forces align. In a state where the fortunes of heaven and earth are burgeoning, the frequency of geniuses and powerhouses emerging would be much higher. Even the bottlenecks and constraints in cultivation would relax and loosen without a sound. Generally speaking, it's rare for a realm to be in such a state. It might not happen even once in tens of thousands of years. Lin Yuan seemed to have discovered something, looking up towards a not-too-distant place. There was a lotus displaying 5 colors, currently swaying gently. Is the consciousness reviving? Lin Yuan had an idea. Having nurtured it for several years, the essence of the true spirit of Situ, the protector, had grown rapidly and was now on the brink of consciousness revival. I'll have a look. Lin Yuan stood before the 5-colored lotus, observing carefully. I didn't die? Situ Ming was somewhat dazed, having prepared for death after deploying the dismantling burning god skill. Chapter 165 The Great Movements of Heaven and Earth, Child of Qi Luck Under 2. Situ Ming only hoped, before death, he could meet the esteemed one and inform him of the Tianjian sect's plans. But unfortunately, with the continual use of the dismantling burning god skill, Situ Ming's speed became faster and faster, and in the end, he not only had to endure endless pain, but he couldn't even stop. However, just when Situ Ming was in utter despair, he saw the esteemed one appear before him, and even made an attempt to save him. It was at that moment, Situ Ming vaguely perceived the esteemed one's terrifying strength, an aura so vast that even Tianjian Zi, who had already stepped into the 10th realm, was far inferior. Situ Ming died with no regrets. But now, Situ Ming attempted to perceive his surroundings. To his surprise, he found that he was now a lotus. A lotus that displayed 5 colors. Esteemed one. Situ Ming's perception continued to spread out. He discovered a tall man appearing before him. And this tall man was none other than his esteemed one. There's no need to worry. Right now, your soul and primordial spirit are nourished within the 5-colored lotus. Try your best to merge with the 5-colored lotus and take control of everything about it. Lin Yuan spoke, his voice gentle. Becoming the main consciousness of the 5-colored lotus was not an easy task. Even if a strong person from this world were to escape with their primordial spirit and seek a new host, they usually chose another member of the human race. As for using a certain plant as a host, not to mention whether it was possible, even if it succeeded, what would one do afterward? Simply become a plant? Yet Lin Yuan was different. In the main world, he had a complete series of secret techniques, namely the seizure secret technique. The Chikuan Star Lord of the past had seized a juvenile starry sky wanderer Kuan, which led to his later valiant achievements. Yes, Situ Ming had a natural submission to Lin Yuan and immediately began trying to merge with the 5-colored lotus, replacing its main consciousness. Good. Seeing this, Lin Yuan nodded slightly. His aid to Situ Ming was actually a kind of test. Moreover, if Situ Ming truly could become the master of the 5-colored lotus, his lifespan would at least explode to several thousand or even tens of thousands of years. It would also count as Lin Yuan's contingency in this world. Tianjian Mountain. Tianjian Zi and many strong ones were becoming increasingly irritable. What's going on with Xiahou Yuan? Is he coming for revenge or not? Why has there been no movement for so many years? Even if he was seriously injured from being suppressed in the 18th layer of the Great Abyss ground, but it's been more than a decade. Hasn't he recovered? Aren't demonic practitioners best at healing injuries? Can't they just kill some people, extract their essence and origin source, and be done with it? What exactly is going on? Could it be that Xiahou Yuan knows I've had a breakthrough, so he dares not come? Tianjian Zi was reflecting. He realized that for all these years, he had been sitting on Tianjian Mountain, like a fool. It wasn't just him. Even the others of the 5 domains were also waiting together. That shouldn't be it? For over a decade, I have blockaded the Tianjian sect. It was only a few years ago that the little demon went out. But after getting hit by my attack, plus activating the dismantling burning god skill, he could only keep flying, getting faster and faster, until he eventually dissipated into nothing, unable to stop at all. How could he have passed on any messages? Tianjian Zi was puzzled. But at this point, all he could do was to continue waiting. After waiting for more than a decade, if he stopped now, wouldn't it mean that they were mistaken all these years? How could that be? Do not panic, everyone. I believe Xiahou Yuan will come soon. We just need to endure a little longer. Tianjian Zi spoke, encouraging the many impatient strong ones present. Meanwhile, as the majority of the strong ones in the 5 domains were still stuck on Tianjian Mountain, hoping to catch their prey and waiting for Xiahou Yuan to come for revenge, they were unaware that subtle changes were starting to occur in the world. Within a bustling city, a small beggar looked at a middle-aged man selling books, eagerly staring at a tattered booklet on the shelf. Scram, scram, scram. Where did this little beggar come from? The book-selling middle-aged man waved his hand, his face full of disgust. I want that book. The small beggar mustered the courage to approach, pointing at the tattered book on the shelf. 10 copper coins, do you have it? The middle-aged man said, annoyed. 10 copper coins. I don't have. The small beggar shrunk back a little. But I have 2 copper coins. The small beggar's right hand fumbled in his pocket and brought out 2 copper coins. You actually have money? The middle-aged man was taken aback slightly. He immediately picked up the worn-out booklet and tossed it to the little beggar. I'm in a good mood today, so I'm selling it to you at a discount. In fact, he had fished out these booklets from a bookstore that was about to close, for just a few pennies each. The little beggar couldn't produce 2 pennies, let alone 1, but he would have sold it to him anyway. Thank you. The little beggar hugged the tattered booklet to his chest, placed the 2 pennies on the bookshelf, and hopped away. Idiot! The middle-aged man watched the little beggar's retreating figure with a hint of mockery. An old temple. The little beggar studied the booklet intently. Refining spirit decree? The little beggar mimicked the movements of the little figures illustrated in the booklet. Unbeknownst to him, heavenly earth vital energy slowly began to converge. It slowly merged into the little beggar's body. In just one day, the little beggar had stepped into the first realm. At a cliff's edge, a young man was being chased by dozens of men in black. Even if I die, I will become a ghost and come back for revenge. Filled with deep resentment, the young man leaped off the cliff. He didn't know how much time had passed. The young man woke from unconsciousness. Where is this? The young man found himself stopped by a tree trunk growing at the edge of the precipice. Not far away, on the nearly smooth cliff face, there appeared a pitch-dark hole that was clearly man-made. Assessing his situation, the young man realized that his only hope of survival was to enter that hole. So, he struggled toward the cave entrance. Good for nothing. Where is the talent you showed 3 years ago? For 3 whole years, not being able to sense the heavenly earth vital energy to form a primordial chi vortex inside your body, do you still have the face to continue using the clan's cultivation resources? An old man with a white beard was scolding a young boy. The boy hung his head, grinding his teeth. Unnoticed by others, a faint glimmer suddenly flashed across the black ring on his right hand. As the great tides of heaven and earth surge forth, countless opportunities will arise, and many talents will emerge. Among them, the strongest talents can be called children of fate? Within the underground palace, though Lin Yuan had not gone out, he vaguely sensed the changes in the world. Such changes were profound, and even Lin Yuan felt shocked and amazed. Just then, not far away, the 5-colored lotus suddenly withered. Underground, the lotus root of the 5-colored lotus was taking shape indistinctly. A humanoid figure emerged from the ground. Composed entirely of lotus root, the figure came out and immediately knelt down, saying reverently to Lin Yuan, "Situ Ming, pays respects to my lord." Get up. Lin Yuan thought for a moment. He lifted his right hand, and a slight wound appeared. Then, a drop of blood that looked like mercury, vibrant red, fell onto Situ Ming's lotus root body. Suddenly, the blood dispersed and dissolved. Situ Ming's lotus root form began to change rapidly. Flesh, skin, limbs, and facial features grew. Not long after, a child of about 10 years old appeared. This. Situ Ming's eyes widened. Just the ability to escape from the 5-colored lotus and crawl from underground had already made him overjoyed. But now, with just a drop of blood bestowed casually by his lord, he had transformed into a real human being? Such means? Were they any different from the divine powers in the myths of gods creating humans? Thank you, my lord. Situ Ming knelt once again, expressing his gratitude. It's nothing. Lin Yuan waved his hand and observed the changes in Situ Ming. He then continued, "You may enter the world now. With the great movements of heaven and earth, opportunities are countless. Go and find one that belongs to you." Understood, my lord. Situ Ming promptly responded. He always executed his lord's suggestions to the letter. Before leaving, Situ Ming seemed to remember something and asked hesitantly, "Should I bring back those opportunities, my lord?" "No need." Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. With a profound look he said, "I no longer need those opportunities." Chapter 166 Go. Flattened Tianjin Mountain. Lin Yuan watched as Situ Ming left. He had reshaped Situ Ming's body with his own essence blood. There was another effect too. That was to inscribe his own brand. The hearts of men are fickle. Even the most loyal of subordinates. 100 years, 200 years, their loyalty can be ensured. 300 years, 500 years, loyalty can still be ensured. But what about 800 years, 1,000 years? What about when Lin Yuan's time is up and he has to leave this world? Will Situ Ming still be able to maintain his absolute loyalty to him? Situ Ming, now formed after the 5-color lotus transformation, could easily live for thousands and tens of thousands of years. Over the long years anything can change. But by inscribing his brand with his essence blood, Lin Yuan eliminated any other possibility. Situ Ming's primordial spirit and body, having been fashioned by Lin Yuan, no longer have the capability to harbor any other thoughts. Continue cultivating. Lin Yuan closed his eyes and resumed his Tao enlightenment. Time slowly passed. 20 years later. In these 20 years, the world had changed more than it had in the previous 200 years, or even 2,000 years. One genius after another emerged, and heritages that had disappeared from history resurfaced. The great powers of the 5 domains underwent several major reshuffles. Of course, the Tianjian sect, with Tianjian from the 10th realm as its pillar, still overlooked the world from above, its status unshaken. However, more than 10 years ago, after the forces of the 5 domains, including Tianjian, realized they couldn't anticipate Xiahou Yuan's return. They could only go back to their respective homes and no longer wait in vain on Tianjian Mountain. There was no other way. If it were another time, they might have persevered a little longer. But now with the world growing more volatile by the day, with powerful figures continuously emerging, these old-timers, would probably have their foundations uprooted if they did not make a comeback soon. Tianjian had no solution to this. He could only speculate that something unpredictable had happened to Xiahou Yuan. Perhaps Xiahou Yuan had realized that he had entered the 10th realm and defiantly refused to come over at all. Underneath the underground palace, next to a vein of fire, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, his body radiating intense heat. 20 years of cultivation had naturally brought him to an entirely new level. Lin Yuan's strength now could be described as approximately comparable to the 14th realm of this world. He was indeed unprecedented and unrepeatable. Even the concept of the 14th realm was created by Lin Yuan because, before him, no being had ever ventured into this domain. For tens of thousands of years, the mightiest being in this realm had been of the 10th realm. Maybe 50,000 years ago or 100,000 years ago, there were beings beyond the 10th realm, but at most they reached only the 11th realm. As for the 14th realm? What a joke. It's almost time. Lin Yuan took a deep breath, his resounding breath causing even the nearby vein of fire to tremble. Huff! Lin Yuan exhaled, the scorching breath breaking through layers of soil, traveling dozens of miles, and striking an underground stratum. The layer burst into dust with a bang, and the terrifying fluctuations spread in all directions, causing tremors on the surface above. Now Lin Yuan opened his eyes, his emanating aura swiftly retracting, and within a few breaths, he seemed no different from an ordinary person. Tianjian sect. Lin Yuan slightly raised his head, looking in the direction of the Tianjian sect. Go and extinguish the Tianjian sect. Lin Yuan's thoughts slightly stirred. An indistinct figure, emanating with the power of Tai Yin, emerged from within the sea of consciousness at his brow. The figure bowed slightly toward Lin Yuan and then stepped out, effortlessly passing through the thick soil to the surface above and immediately vanished. This figure was none other than Lin Yuan's Yin God, also known as the Tai Yin primordial spirit. Actually, had it not been for Lin Yuan's discovery that the vast current of heaven and earth had surged forth 20 years ago, he probably would have already flattened the Tianjian sect right after stepping into the 13th realm 18 years prior. But now was not too late. No matter how vigorously the vast current of heaven and earth surged, it had its limits. The ceiling of this realm remained fixed, and no matter how much nurturing occurred, it couldn't produce supreme powerhouses like those from the main world. With Lin Yuan's current 14th realm strength, he was more than capable of sweeping through everything, even if it was only a Yin god. More than 20 years ago, Lin Yuan's own Taiji primordial spirit had divided into the Yin and Yang spirits. At that time, if the Yin and Yang spirits exerted their full power, they could grow to hundreds of feet tall. Now, after more than 20 years, the Yin and Yang spirits had grown more than 10 times stronger than before. Tianjian Mountain. On this day, the Tianjian sect was in celebration, bustling with activity. Guests came and went without end. Because today was the 800th birthday of Tianjian. As the strongest of his time, and the only one from the 10th realm, Tianjian's birthday was naturally a grand affair. Many forces from the 5 domains and numerous powerful individuals wouldn't dare miss it. Even those unruly, adventure-laden younger generations mostly came in a subdued manner. In front of this senior 10th realm powerhouse, no one dared to act recklessly. At the top of Tianjian Mountain, Xianxia sat high in the principal seat. Looking at the many guests below, he was in high spirits. For a 10th realm powerhouse, 800 years was just a minor part of life. A 10th realm being had a lifespan of 2,000 years. Congratulations to Xianxia, Sr., for a life as vast as the East Sea. A middle-aged man strode forward, bowing slightly to Xianxia. This middle-aged man was a 9th realm powerhouse, yet he remained slightly respectful in the presence of Xianxia, who had reached the 10th realm. Xianxia nodded slightly, indicating he had acknowledged the gesture. He would react only when powerhouses of the 9th realm rose to congratulate him. As for those below the 9th realm, he would merely acknowledge them with a glance. These few decades have seen the number of 9th realm individuals skyrocket several times over. Xianxia looked around, silently reflecting. As the sect leader of the world's most powerful sect, Xianxia was naturally aware of the changes within the 5 domains. But to cultivate a 10th realm, it will still take tens or 100 years. Chapter 167 Go, flatten Tianjin Mountain under 2, at that time perhaps I. A hint of longing flickered across Tianjin's expression. In another 100 or 200 years, he hoped to cultivate to the peak of the 10th realm. By then, he might even be able to attempt reaching the 11th realm, something that had only been achieved 50,000 years ago. Of course, thinking about this now was still premature. At present, Xianxia was far from reaching the perfection of the 10th realm, let alone the 11th realm. As Xianxia pondered, a veteran powerhouse below spoke out loudly. Sect leader Tianjin's divine might is unparalleled. 20 years ago, Xiahou Yuan was so terrified that he didn't dare to seek revenge and would rather die than come here. As soon as this was said, it immediately sparked a chorus of agreement. Although only 20 years had passed, with the explosive increase of powerhouses from the 9th realm, everyone's fear of Xiahou Yuan had also invisibly diminished a lot. After all, in this era, strong warriors emerge in large numbers, especially those most dazzling ones who have nearly reached the peak of the 9th realm, hardly weaker than Xiahou Yuan back then. If Xiahou Yuan dared to appear again now, it's estimated that he would be swept away by the younger generation of warriors. In today's 5 domains mainland, a new era had arrived, and except for the Tianjin sect, which could maintain its status, all other forces were trembling with fear, dreading that they might be eliminated one day. Xiahou Yuan? Xianxia was slightly startled. Had no one mentioned that name, he would have almost forgotten it. A miserable dog, better left unmentioned. Xianxia shook his head slightly. The young generation of powerhouses were now his focus. As for Xiahou Yuan, he wasn't even worth another glance now. Exactly. What is Xiahou Yuan anyway? Does he even deserve a mention at sect leader Tianjin's birthday feast? I heard that one of the younger generation outside has a close relationship with Xiahou Yuan. So what if they are close? Even Xiahou Yuan was defeated by sect leader Xianxia. What waves can they possibly make? Many guests discussed noisily, expressing their deep scorn for Xiahou Yuan. Beside Tianjinzi, big brother Xiahou, by Qing'er, wearing a white dress, her delicate wrist supporting her chin. After all these years, won't you even look at Qing'er? Hundreds of miles away from Tianjin Mountain, within a secluded forest, Situ Ming gazed distantly at Tianjin Mountain, his expression tinged with gloom. Tianjinzi, if it weren't for the Prime God's reluctance to bother, would you still be alive? Situ Ming thought to himself. 20 years ago, Lin Yuan allowed him to enter the world. With the terrifying talent of the 5-colored lotus, Situ Ming broke through to the 9th realm in just over a decade, becoming one of the most dazzling figures among the young generation. Of course, the reason Situ Ming had ascended to the 9th realm so swiftly was entirely because he had been an 8th realm powerhouse before becoming the 5-colored lotus. Even though he had to start over with his physical and primordial spirit after becoming the 5-colored lotus, his foundational depth was still there, quickly restoring him to the power of the 8th realm, and a subsequent ascent to the 9th realm was only natural. One day, even if the Prime God does not take action, I will also trample you, Tianjinzi, underfoot. Situ Ming took a deep look at Tianjin Mountain miles away, intending to leave. As of now, he was still far from being a match for Tianjinzi of the 10th realm. Suddenly, at that moment, Situ Ming's expression subtly changed. He looked in a certain direction. He saw a person strolling leisurely from afar. Although described as leisurely, His pace was extremely fast, covering hundreds of yards in just a few steps. This man had ordinary features, but each of his movements exuded an unusual charisma. Especially his fiery red eyes, which emitted a scorching sensation. Xiaohua? Upon seeing this man, Situ Ming's mind immediately made a connection to someone. Xiaohua, currently a leader among the young generation of the Five Domains mainland, with a strength at the peak of the Ninth Realm. It was said that Xiaohua showed extraordinary talent in his early teens, but later, over 3 years, his abilities all seemed to vanish, leading to his suppression by his family, eventually leaving the family in indignation. In the following 20 years, like having a breakthrough boost, Xiaohua rapidly grew stronger, breaking through the 9 realms, ultimately standing at the peak of the 9th realm. Situ Ming. Xiaohua looked calm, smiling at Situ Ming. I heard you have quite a substantial connection with the formidable villain Xiahou Yuan from decades ago? Seeing Situ Ming show a wary expression, Xiaohua shook his head slightly. Don't worry, I have no interest and no hostility towards Xiahou Yuan. There was something Xiaohua left unsaid. And that was he had never regarded Xiahou Yuan highly. In Xiaohua's eyes, his opponent had always been just one person. That was Tianjianzi, of the 10th realm. Xiahou Yuan has a great feud with Tianjianzi, and coincidentally, our visit this time is also to deal with Tianjianzi. In a sense, you are still our friend, Xiahua said with a smile. We. Situ Ming's gaze slightly condensed. Exactly. Xiahua paused for a moment, then raised his voice. You two, won't you show yourselves? As soon as he finished speaking, 2 profound auras silently appeared within Situ Ming's sensory range. Situ Ming looked up. To his left was a female figure, her physique robust. Wonderful mental fluctuations almost led Situ Ming to be entranced. Yang Bixin. A shock crossed Situ Ming's mind. Yang Bixin, also a young generation leader, with peak 9th realm capabilities. Yang Bixin had a pitiful background, a beggar in her youth, but somehow, she obtained a refining spirit decree, which was perfectly suited for her training. Afterward, Yang Bixin soared, ascending directly to the peak of the 9th realm. Ha ha ha. Since Brother Xiao has spoken, how could I, Shenlang, stay hidden? A loud laugh came, and a figure strode forward, his hair wildly dancing, like a majestic lion. Shenlang. Situ Ming was already prepared in his heart. Shenlang, also a name among the young generation leaders, alongside Xiaohua and Yang Bixin. Unlike the previous 2, Shenlang had a distinguished family background, but at the age of 20, his enemies had come to kill him. In a desperate situation, Shenlang had no choice but to leap off a cliff. However, Shenlang did not die from the fall but rather received a heritage from a suspected 11th realm powerhouse from 50,000 years ago. You 3. Situ Ming looked at the trio. Xiaohua, Yang Bixin, Shenlang, the most dazzling trio of the young generation on the 5 domains mainland. They could even suppress the vast majority of the older generation at the 9th realm. We are here to challenge Tianjianzi to step into the 10th realm, Xiaohua spoke gently, yet emitted a strong intent to fight. With the capabilities of the 3, only the high and mighty 10th realm could exert pressure on them, and with this pressure, they hoped to advance further, stepping into the 10th realm. Situ Ming, do you wish to join us? Xiaohua extended the invitation. Xiahou Yuan was once suppressed by Tianjianzi. Such humiliation, let us avenge it for him, Shenlang said slowly next to him. His gaze was fixed on Tianjian mountain hundreds of miles away, unwavering. It is said that Bai Qing'er of the Tianjian sect is the most beautiful woman under heaven, who once dazzled Xiahou Yuan so much that he lost his senses. I'm quite curious to see what kind of beauty she is. Yang Bixin touched her hair, speaking softly. You! Situ Ming took a deep breath. He realized that these 3 had never taken him, nor his master, seriously. The so-called revenge was just casual talk. Even without the master, these 3 would still challenge Tianjianzi. The master's vengeance should naturally be avenged by me, Situ Ming said in a cold tone. He. Xiaohua was about to speak. Just at that moment, Shenlang, who had been standing beside them, his gaze fixed on Tianjian Mountain without a flicker, suddenly stiffened. His Bodis aura began to uncontrollably surge. What's happening? Xiaohua furrowed his brows, and alongside Yang Bixin, followed Shenlang's gaze. But with just one look, they witnessed a scene they would never forget. In the high skies above Tianjian Mountain, A sea of clouds tens of thousands of miles wide churned and hung low. A towering figure, over 100,000 feet tall, stood silently in front of Tianjian Mountain. Tianjian Mountain, a famed peak in the central region, also spanned dozens of miles high, usually shrouded in mist, resembling an immortal realm. However, at that moment, before the towering figure, even the lofty Tianjian Mountain merely reached his ankles. The next moment, under the shocked gazes of Xiao Hua, Yang Bixin, and Xin Lang, the towering figure slowly lifted his right foot towards Tianjian Mountain. Then, he stepped down. Chapter 168 The 100,000 Zhang-Yin God. Please subscribe. Tianjian Mountain Peak. Seated high above, Tianjian overlooked the many guests with an indifferent expression. As the protagonist of the birthday banquet, Tianjian was undoubtedly the most watched person there. Those three little ones, they should be arriving soon, right? A hint of coldness flickered across Tianjian's face. As the master of the world's foremost power, how could Tianjian not know that the three most dazzling youths of the 5 domains were sharpening their claws, eager to step over him and ascend to the divine throne? This was not because Tianjian bore a grudge against them. For decades, Tianjian's sect had not oppressed the younger generation. In fact, they couldn't even if they wanted to. It's just that Tianjian had been oppressing the strong of the 5 domains for too long, and the 3 leaders of the younger generation wanted to break his myth. By harnessing the pressure from Tianjian, they aimed to carve their own paths. Foolish. Today, I shall let you understand what the 10th realm is. Tianjian thought to himself. If given enough time, Tianjian did not deny that the 3 had the potential to step into the 10th realm. But now, mere 9th realm practitioners, how could they challenge Tianjian? This time I must not hold back. Once these 3 are dealt with, the younger generation of the 5 domains will be greatly weakened, and they won't threaten Tianjian's sect for the next 100 or even hundreds of years. With that, I can also set out to that place with peace of mind. Tianjian's thoughts surged as his gaze faintly turned in a certain direction. That was the north. North of the northern region, north of the endless sea domain. After stepping into the 10th realm, Tianjian vaguely sensed a calling. A summons from the heavens and earth, constantly drawing him northward. The 2 predecessors from Tianjian's sect who were in the 10th realm had also experienced this. After those 2 10th realm predecessors from Tianjian's sect heeded the call and headed north of the endless sea domain, they never returned. Thus, after entering the 10th realm, Tianjian had been suppressing this call. Only in recent years had the summons grown stronger, and Tianjian was vaguely aware that if he continued to delay, a great terror might ensue. Luan Yi, when will you reach the peak of the 9th realm? Tianjian's gaze shifted slightly, landing on Bai Qing'er. Bai Qing'er, originally named Luan Yi, was rumored to be Tianjian's childhood sweetheart. In truth, Luan Yi was just Tianjian's sister. However, ever since the incident with Xiahou Yuan, Luan Yi had taken Bai Qing'er as her actual name. Soon. Luan Yi answered nonchalantly. Once you reach the peak of the 9th realm, I will help you step into the 10th realm with all my strength, said Tianjian. When will the sect leader come out of seclusion and capture Xiahou Yuan for me? Luan Yi suddenly asked. Xiahou Yuan? Tianjian's brow furrowed. He had long since stopped concerning himself with Xiahou Yuan. However, seeing Luan Yi like this, it was clear she had been left with a heart demon because of that incident. Enough. Tianjian sighed inwardly. Even as a 10th realm practitioner, if Xiahou Yuan was determined to hide somewhere, there was not much he could do. But after decades of cultivation, Tianjian had delved deep into the 10th realm and had even comprehended several secret techniques left by his 10th realm predecessors. If he paid a certain price, it was still possible to locate Xiahou Yuan. After the birthday banquet, I will bring back Xiahou Yuan. However, you must promise me the thing you promised. Tianjian spoke in a calm tone, as if he were retrieving not the legendary fiend who once oppressed the 5 domains but rather a stray cat or dog. Thank you, sect leader, Bai Qing'er said, immediately smiling with joy at the words. At that moment, she had already begun to envision the various scenes that would unfold once Xiahou Yuan fell into her hands. Suddenly, at that moment, the numerous strong practitioners gathered at the peak of Tianjian Mountain, celebrating for Tianjian, suddenly realized that the sky seemed to darken. The originally sunny and mist-enshrouded peak of Tianjin Mountain became gloomy all at once. What is that? A strong practitioner looked up at the sky. They saw a continent-sized massive shadow falling rapidly toward Tianjin Mountain. Not good. Run quickly. What is this thing? Even though the strong practitioners did not know why the continent shadow had appeared here, they realized that staying would definitely not bode well. So they frantically fled in all directions. As long as they could escape the coverage range of the continent shadow, they should be safe. Unfortunately, it was too late. The continent shadow descended too quickly, and the boundless power of Tai-In spread, turning into a terrifying pressure, restricting all the strong practitioners' speeds. Boom! Tianjin Z soared into the sky. The breath of a 10th realm practitioner burst forth unrestrained, shaking the heavens and the earth. Others could run, but Tianjin Z could not, for beneath his feet lay Tianjin Mountain, the core land of Tianjin sect. If he were to flee and cause any accident to Tianjin Mountain, wouldn't he be the sinner of Tianjin sect for tens of thousands of years? Most importantly, Tianjin Z had a vague feeling that even if he wanted to run, he could not. Surrounded by the formless and profound power of Tai-In, even though Tianjin Z was a 10th realm practitioner, his speed was greatly reduced, and there was no hope of escaping before the continent shadow descended. Stop! Tianjin Z's eyes turned blood red, and his aura surged once more, towering like a divine being, attempting to hold back the descending continent shadow. However, bang! Tianjin Z exploded abruptly. The continent shadow did not stop even for a moment, continuing to press down on Tianjin Mountain. Rumble, rumble. With the continent shadow's relentless descent, Tianjin Mountain began to collapse. One after another, the strong practitioners burst apart, their flesh and primordial spirits shattering into fragments that fell. Chapter 169 The 100,000 Zhang-Yin God. Please subscribe. Under Sir 2 during this time, there were strong beings who realized they couldn't escape and chose instead to stand their ground and resist furiously. However, it was meaningless. They were continuously blasted apart. In just a few breaths' time, the towering Tianjin Mountain had been flattened. All that was left in its place was a giant pit reaching dozens of miles deep. If one were to look from thousands of miles away, they would find that this massive pit resembled a footprint, but magnified by billions of times. The auras of countless primordial spirits turned into streaks of light, racing in all directions. The thick scent of blood spread. That single step had shattered the physical bodies of countless strong beings. Having lost their physical forms, the primordial spirits were still there. Even though they were severely damaged, many of the strong beings' primordial spirits had not completely collapsed. Now grasping the opportunity, they naturally fled as if mad. It was at this moment. Above the sea, miles away, another vast shadow reached down. If one observed carefully, they would discover that this huge shadow resembled a human face with blurred features, impossible to make out in detail. One could see this face turning towards the direction of the huge footprint, opening its massive mouth, and taking a deep inhale. Boom! In the face of the terrifying suction, be it primordial spirits or the dispersing blood and energy, all of it turned into long dragons, flowing into the mouth of that immense face. Hundreds of miles away, in a dense forest, Xiao Hua, Xinlang, and Yang Bixin, three widely admired young leaders full of hope, were now pale and stiff. Gazing up at Tianjin Mountain, it had been flattened under the step of that towering figure, and the countless strong beings on the mountain, including Tianjin Z of the 10th realm, had their physical bodies and primordial spirits crushed, only to be swallowed by that towering figure in one gulp. The minds of Xiao Hua and the others turned to mush. Especially Shen Lang, who had received the heritage of an 11th realm powerhouse from 50,000 years ago. But even 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, or even more distant times, there had never been such a horrifying scene, had there? This is a primordial spirit. Xiao Hua touched the ring on his right hand, barely suppressing the shock in his heart, and said in a low voice, "Primordial spirit? That towering figure is a primordial spirit?" Xin Lang and Yang Bixin took deep breaths once more. Even the primordial spirit of a 5th-rank peak powerhouse of the 9th realm, when exerting all its might, would at most be 100 zhang tall. The primordial spirit of a 10th realm powerhouse might possibly reach several hundred zhang. But just now, that towering figure was at least 100,000 zhang tall. If such a massive primordial spirit existed, How powerful must its owner be? The 12th realm? The 13th realm? Xiaohua and the others couldn't believe it. Even with countless fortuitous encounters, they only ever thought they could step into the 10th realm. Shen Lang, with the heritage of someone from the 11th realm, might have a slim hope of reaching the 11th realm. As for higher, they dared not think of it. They wouldn't think of it, because that was completely beyond reality. This is the Venerable One. This is the Venerable One's Taiyin primordial spirit, said Situ Ming. Compared to the shock and terror of Xiao Hua and the others, Situ Ming, who had been the five-colored lotus, had spent a long time with Lin Yuan and was quite familiar with his aura. The current towering figure might reach from heaven to earth, flattening Tianjian Mountain with a single step, its divine might dominating the world, but the faint aura it emitted was similar to that which Situ Ming had sensed from the Venerable One. The Venerable One? You're saying that this primordial spirit belongs to Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan? Xiao Hua and the others exchanged glances, unable to imagine that Xiahou Yuan, who had long withdrawn from the stage of the five domains, had cultivated to such a realm where just one primordial spirit could sustain heaven and earth. It was simply inconceivable. Of course, said Situ Ming. I can still recognize the Venerable One's aura. In his heart, Situ Ming was equally shocked. He had thought Lin Yuan was very powerful. When he had used the dismantling burning god skill in the past, certain death was inevitable, but he was forcefully saved. And during that time, Situ Ming vaguely sensed the vast aura from Lin Yuan. But Situ Ming never thought that Lin Yuan could be so powerful, deploying just one primordial spirit to annihilate Tianjian Mountain. Here, annihilate didn't mean in a symbolic sense, like sweeping through the many strong beings of the Tianjian sect and crushing Tianjian Z. It meant physically annihilating it. The entire Tianjian Mountain had been leveled to the ground. Xiahou Yuan, Xiao Hua and the other two carefully pondered. They realized that throughout the five domains mainland, to bear such deep hatred for the Tianjian sect as to directly trample its gates. Xiahou Yuan was definitely one of them. Moreover, Xiao Hua and the others didn't believe that Situ Ming had the courage to let his respected superior impersonate such a powerhouse. Should it be discovered by him, the entire demonic Tao would be trampled flat just like Tianjian Mountain. As Xiao Hua and the other two whispered among themselves. Far away, hundreds of miles distant, that towering figure over 100,000 zhang tall, after swallowing the essence and blood of numerous powerhouses' primordial spirits, slightly turned its massive head, casting a gaze towards the dense forest here. Boom. It was merely a glance. Yet it brought Xiao Hua and the other two an unprecedented pressure. It felt as if the heavens and earth were collapsing, as if all things were being annihilated. No! Xiao Hua, Shen Lang, and Yang Bixin instinctively knelt on the ground, not daring to continue gazing at that towering figure. Although they were separated by hundreds of miles, Xiao Hua and the others knew that to that towering figure, a few hundred miles was merely a few steps. Interesting. The Taiyin primordial spirit seemed to have discovered something. Its form suddenly dispersed, turning into countless particles of Taiyin power, disappearing from the spot. It wasn't until half an hour after the Taiyin primordial spirit had left that Xiao Hua, Shen Lang, and Yang Bixin dared to lift their heads. Only after confirming that the towering figure had disappeared did the three of them breathe a heavy sigh of relief. What? What should we do now? After a long while, the softly spoken Yang Bixin asked in a low voice. Upon hearing this, Xiao Hua and Shen Lang immediately fell into silence. Originally, according to their plan, they were to challenge powerhouses everywhere to pave their own road to the 10th realm. As the number one powerhouse in the five domains, Tianjian Z was naturally their target. But now that Tianjian Z was dead, a challenge was no longer possible. In fact, although Tianjian Z had died, a far more formidable existence than Tianjian Z had appeared. That was the Demon Lord Xiahou Yuan mentioned by Situ Ming. And challenging the Demon Lord Xiahou Yuan. Challenge my ass. Forget about the Demon Lord Xiahou Yuan himself, even one of his primordial spirits, to be precise, a glance from one of his primordial spirits. The three of them felt as if the world was collapsing. Unbearable. A challenge? Xiao Hua and the others may have grand ambitions, but they were not fools. They knew better than to leap forward into certain death. The reason they had dared to challenge Tianjian Z earlier was that they had the assurance they could save their own lives. Even if they failed, they could withdraw in one piece. But facing the Demon Lord Xiahou Yuan, Xiao Hua, Shen Lang, and Yang Bixin looked at each other. Suddenly, everything seemed tasteless. They had been full of confidence in their cultivation, believing that with their own efforts, they could surpass anyone. Yet, after merely witnessing that towering figure before, their state of mind began to crumble subtly. What was the use of further cultivation? Wouldn't it be trivial for that towering figure, with just a step? Even a step wouldn't be necessary. A mere glance, or perhaps a sliver of killing intent. Below the underground palace, Lin Yuan was sitting cross-legged. Streams of Taiyin power converged. The Taiyin primordial spirit appeared before Lin Yuan. Finished? Lin Yuan casually asked. In fact, as the main body, he shared a viewpoint with the Yin spirit and Yang spirit. To be precise, one consciousness divided into three, the Taiyin primordial spirit trampling down Tianjin mountains each and every detail, as clear as the pattern on one's palm if Lin Yuan wished to see it. The question finished? He just asked was nothing more than a casual inquiry. The 100,000 Zhongyin god. Lin Yuan's gaze was serene. No matter which world it was in, 100,000 zhong was considered a colossal size. If converted to another unit, with 1 zhong equaling 3.3 meters, 100,000 zhong would be 330,000 meters. That is, 600 miles. Even in the main world, such a massive body would be considered a fifth-rank life form, one of the strongest beings on the planet. Of course, the primordial spirit is not the same as the physical body. Without the restrictions of flesh and blood, as long as the realm is reached, it can almost grow infinitely. Chapter 170 The Dispute Over Spreading the Tao and the Great Fate, 800 Years in Balance. Please subscribe. Those three children of destiny. Lin Yuan's expression fell into brief contemplation. What are children of destiny? Favored by the world, even drinking water could lead to serendipity. In summary, having extremely good luck, often turning misfortune into fortune and continuously growing stronger. And these points were what Lin Yuan had finally witnessed today. Under normal circumstances, Xiao Hua, Yang Bixin, and Xin Lang were supposed to go to Tianjin Mountain to challenge Tianjin Zi and pave their own paths toward the 10th realm. If everything went smoothly, when the three of them reached Tianjin Mountain, Lin Yuan's Taiyin primordial spirit would descend and flatten Tianjin Mountain with a single footstep. With the strength of the Taiyin primordial spirit, regardless of what methods those three children of destiny had, they were destined to die. However, under such circumstances, for some unknown reason, those three children of destiny suddenly stopped midway, had a few words with Situ Ming, and even invited Situ Ming to go with them. It was just this slight delay that saved the three children of destiny from a massive disaster. One could only say that the luck of these three children of destiny was too good. You must know, compared with the three of them, Situ Ming, although also part of the younger generation, was far from their equal. Usually, Xiao Hua and the others wouldn't even stop to talk to Situ Ming, let alone have such a prolonged conversation today. Is it really luck? Or some kind of hint? Lin Yuan looked thoughtful. Actually, with Lin Yuan's strength, if he really wanted to kill those three children of destiny, no matter how much the world favored them, no matter how good their luck was, it wouldn't matter. The three of them were still destined to die. There was no chance for luck. In the face of absolute strength, only equal strength can contend. As for the rest, all illusions. However, Lin Yuan had insights into the cosmos. He faintly felt that, even if he killed those three children of destiny, it wouldn't mean anything. As long as this world existed, in several years or decades, there would still be a fourth, a fifth, a sixth child of destiny born. That's why just now, the Taiyin primordial spirit looked at those three children of destiny and said the word interesting. Pitiable. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. Children of destiny are favored by the world. But success by destiny, and failure by destiny. The next line to when the time comes, the world exerts the same force, is when luck departs, the hero is no longer free. What does not free mean? The children of destiny can be seen as the children of the cosmos. Or perhaps incarnations of it. Their limit is the limit of the world. And they can never escape the shackles of the world. Of course, there is also the possibility that a child of destiny eventually overcomes the consciousness of the world and turns defeat into victory. But the likelihood is too low. Everything you have, all your methods are conferred by the world, are bestowed by the cosmos. With what will you win? Speaking of which, in recent decades, the great forces of the world have surged, and three children of destiny have been born in succession, also influenced by me. Lin Yuan's thoughts started to spin, suddenly realizing. Over the years, Lin Yuan's strength had constantly grown, breaking free from past constraints time after time. Others might not be aware, like Situ Ming, Nuan Shu, Moyong Demon Lord and his other subordinates. At most they just realized that Lin Yuan was very strong. But how strong he actually was, they had no concept. Or rather, they couldn't even imagine. However, this world, this cosmos, could feel the changes in Lin Yuan's strength. Excessively powerful individuals bring a sense of crisis to the world, and lead to the rise and fall of great fortunes, the emergence of children of destiny. In a way, the birth of these children of destiny is for the purpose of subduing demons, to bring down Lin Yuan, the startlingly powerful demon. But, birth of children of destiny also requires time. Even investing the power of an entire world to nurture 3 children of destiny, and reaching the peak of the 9th realm in just over 20 years, is considered incredible. But Lin Yuan's growth rate is even more astonishing, so fast that even the children of destiny cannot compare. This has led to a rather awkward situation. Facing Lin Yuan, the children of destiny would have their spirits crushed, not to speak of subduing, they wouldn't even dare to harbor such thoughts. Sigh. As Lin Yuan was contemplating, the Taiyin primordial spirit before him opened his mouth slightly, and released 2 streams of primordial spirit force. These 2 streams of primordial spirit force began to condense upon coming out, turning into 2 thumb-sized figures. It was Xianxia and Bai Qing'er. The primordial spirits of other powerful beings were swallowed by the Taiyin primordial spirit to nourish itself without any hesitation, but these 2 were held in a special position in Xiahou Yuan's heart. Of course, it wasn't any kind of good position. Swallow them as well, Lin Yuan said as he looked down at the 2 tiny figures of Xianxia and Bai Qing'er. He felt a sense of dullness for a moment. He didn't wait for the 2 to awaken, nor did he wait for them to show shocked and fearful expressions when they awoke and saw Lin Yuan. He directly summoned the Taiyang divine spirit and swallowed the 2 primordial spirits as well. Devouring the primordial spirits of living beings can pollute one's own soul's purity, but occasionally swallowing a few isn't a problem. From Lin Yuan's current heights, unless he devoured billions or quadrillions of living beings in a short period of time, there would be no problem or hidden danger. Having settled the grudges of his original self, Lin Yuan began contemplating the next matter, which was spreading the Tao. Along with his rising status in the main world, Lin Yuan discovered that the main world's superpowerful beings would spread paths of evolution related to themselves or their kin. For instance, the innate ancient gods in the depths of the cosmic starry skies. With their might, if they weren't willing, there wouldn't exist the ancient god evolution path. In fact, the ancient gods were very eager for the ancient god evolution path related to themselves to spread among humans. Chapter 171 Preaching Tao, The Struggle of Great Destiny, 100 Years of Eternity, subscribe please. _2 It was merely suppressed by the Human Alliance. Not only the ancient gods but also those high-level powerhouses of the Human Alliance. They were deliberately, and sometimes unintentionally, spreading their own evolutionary paths. The vast array of evolutionary paths collected by the Cosmic Human Alliance could not possibly be achieved solely through forced uploads by the evolvers. It had to be voluntary. Lin Yuan had once asked his senior brother, that is, the Qikuan Star Lord's eldest disciple, the strongest among the 13 disciples. The senior brother told Lin Yuan he said spreading one's own evolutionary path related to the ultimate leap. Of course, the ultimate leap was too far away for the senior brother. Even the Qikuan Star Lord was far from that level. To truly reach that step, one had only hoped by creating an evolutionary path that fully suited oneself. Currently speaking, whether it was the senior brother, the second brother, or the third brother, they were all following the evolutionary paths of their predecessors. Since most of the superpower houses in the main world are spreading their own evolutionary paths, then that surely means this method is undoubtedly correct. In the main world, within the Human Alliance, thousands of evolutionary paths emerge concurrently. The martial path evolutionary path created by Lin Yuan needs to go through heavy competition before it can attract some evolvers. It's just in other worlds. The difficulty of Lin Yuan spreading his own evolutionary path is naturally not high. After all, with invincible strength, why fear others won't cultivate? However, spreading an evolutionary path, that is, a cultivation system, is a very time-consuming affair. Lin Yuan possessed against heaven's understanding, and from a high perspective, he could reach the peak in just a few decades. But what about other people? They might need several generations, or even dozens of generations, to achieve something. To prevent the martial path evolutionary path from mysteriously dying out during its spread, Lin Yuan had to cultivate a protector to take over after his departure from this world and ensure the vigorous development of the martial path. This protector's lifespan must be exceptionally lengthy, as passing it down generation by generation could easily lead to issues. And most importantly, he must be absolutely loyal to Lin Yuan, no matter if thousands or tens of thousands of years pass, still able to execute Lin Yuan's commands perfectly. The protector chosen by Lin Yuan was none other than Situ Ming. Situ Ming himself was a 5-colored lotus with a long lifespan, easily living thousands to tens of thousands of years. Plus, with both his primordial spirit and physical body coming from Lin Yuan, he was absolutely loyal. Even after Lin Yuan's time limit arrived, he could still replace Lin Yuan and ensure the martial path could be passed down for a long time. When Lin Yuan initially saved Situ Ming, he spared no effort using a 5-colored lotus as well as many other resources and time, ultimately even a drop of his vital blood. It was all in consideration of this day. Several months later, Situ Ming returned to the underground palace. Master! Situ Ming knelt before Lin Yuan with unmatched fervor. Nuan Shu, Moyong Demon Lord, and others also stood by respectfully. Tianjian Mountain had been flattened by a certain existence's foot, and this news had spread across the 5 domains like a hurricane. After all, many ordinary people lived around Tianjian Mountain, and even cultivators of the 4th and 5th realms. Under the step of the Taiyin primordial spirit, all the powerhouses on Tianjian Mountain were utterly annihilated. But outside of Tianjian Mountain, there were still many who witnessed this scene. All sorts of rumors arose in no time. They said Tianjian's sect had offended the gods, thus the punishment was brought down, and so on. People outside had all sorts of speculations. In fact, the demonic Tao had various guesses too. But all speculations vanished after Situ Ming returned. Because Situ Ming told them it was the master's doing. From today onwards, all cultivators of the demonic Tao will also cultivate this method. Moreover, use all means possible to spread this cultivation method throughout the 5 domains mainland, Lin Yuan said indifferently. Before him, a stack of books was laid out. It recorded the martial path evolutionary path he had organized recently. Lin Yuan, while maintaining its core unchanged, had substantially modified it to integrate it as much as possible into this world. Yes. Nuan Shu and Moyong Demon Lord immediately agreed. North. After sending everyone away, Lin Yuan still sat cross-legged next to the vitality spring. At Lin Yuan's current realm, he had vaguely sensed that at the far north, beyond the northern region and even the north of the Endless Sea domain, there indistinctly existed a black hole. This black hole, like a gluttonous beast, was incessantly devouring the heavenly earth vital energy. This caused the overall heavenly earth vital energy to decline at a certain slow pace. 50,000, 100,000 years ago, the 5 domains mainland had seen the birth of 11th realm powerhouses. But from 10,000 to 50,000 years ago, 11th realm powerhouses had become legends, and even 10th realm powerhouses were extremely rare. As for now, in the 10,000 years since, the only confirmed 10th realm powerhouse was Tianjianzi. Under the prospering of great destiny, those children of destiny might step into the 10th realm, but it was a temporary solution, not addressing the root cause. The so-called great destiny was merely exhausting the potential of thousands, tens of thousands of years to come. After these children of destiny have passed away, this world might not even see a 9th realm powerhouse. And the chief culprit of all this was the massive black hole that Lin Yuan had vaguely sensed. Located north of the Endless Sea domain. Eastern region. In a purple bamboo forest. Xiao Hua, Yang Bixin, and Xin Lang, the 3 children of destiny, stayed here. Even if Xiahou Yuan is strong, it should not affect us. His strength is his own affair, we still need to continue cultivating. Yang Bixin spoke softly but was the quickest among the 3 to recover. Absolutely. Heaven forges ahead, and a gentleman should ceaselessly strive to strengthen himself. Xin Lang quickly rallied. Embarrassed. Xiao Hua's eyes were red, but he also recovered in that moment. The 3 looked at each other and laughed. Just as they were about to continue chatting, suddenly, a roaring noise came from deep within the purple bamboo forest. Seeing this, Xiao Hua and the others immediately stood up and approached. They vaguely felt that there was something extraordinary about the roaring noise. Shortly after, the trio arrived in front of a gigantic cave entrance. The entrance was pitch black, but immense primordial chi fluctuations were emanating from within, as if it connected to another world. What is this? Xiao Hua frowned. This is an entrance to the underground world, a rare sight every tens of thousands of years. Shenlang pondered for a moment, his expression becoming excited. With Shenlang's explanation, Xiao Hua and Yang Bixin gained some understanding of the underground world. The so-called underground world was the subterranean world of the 5 domains, vast and immense. Most importantly, it retained the concentration of primordial chi from tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years ago. In the past 100,000 years, entrances to the underground world appeared several times. Each time, the cultivators who entered emerged significantly stronger, indeed the top opportunity in the world. Ha ha ha! Even the heavens are helping us. Xiao Hua and the others glanced at each other and stepped in without hesitation. Once the 3 had entirely entered the black hole entrance, the ground shook again, and chunks of rock fell, completely concealing the entrance. Time slowly passed. Tianjian Mountain was flattened by a powerful entity. The truth gradually spread that Demon Lord Xiahou Yuan's demonic power was complete. He sent out his primordial spirit, transforming into a gigantic godly figure 100,000 zhang high, leveling Tianjian Mountain. When this incident first broke, most did not believe it because it was too incredible. 100,000 zhang tall primordial spirit, that's extremely powerful. But as time passed, the demonic Tao continued as usual, and more people started to believe. After all, if the story were false, Xiahou Yuan would have quickly come forward to debunk it, lest the next target to be flattened be the demonic Tao, right? But Xiahou Yuan did not deny it, and no demonic being came forward to explain, which meant it was tacitly accepted. In this scenario, Xiahou Yuan remained alive and well, only proving that the news was true. Suddenly, Xiahou Yuan was revered by many powerhouses of the 5 domains as the strongest in the world. To be precise, the strongest in the last 100,000 million years. 100,000 zhang tall primordial spirit was simply terrifying. And just then, a cultivation system known as martial Tao rapidly spread across the 5 domains mainland. Those without cultivation aptitudes, the ordinary people, began trying this martial Tao cultivation system. Even those cultivators in the 3rd realm, 4th realm, upon discovering the potential of the martial Tao cultivation system, decisively abandoned their own cultivation and switched to martial Tao. And just like that, 100 years hurriedly passed by. Chapter 172 How Tall is the Demon Lord? Super large chapter of 5,000 words. 100 years had passed, and the world had transformed significantly. In the eyes of ordinary people, this might represent a lifetime. Even for cultivators, below the 6th realm, 100 years could be considered half of one's life. Especially this century, the changes in the world were far greater than those of the past 1,000 or even 10,000 years. The first and foremost was the leveling of Tianjian Mountain, an impact that was not merely temporary but profound and enduring. What was Tianjian Mountain? It was the mountain gate of the Tianjian sect, the stronghold of the foremost power in the world. For tens of thousands of years, the Tianjian sect had given rise to more than one cultivator of the 10th realm, and its influence in the 5 domains mainland was deeply entrenched. Such a colossal power, even if it were to decline, would do so gradually, only completely falling after thousands or tens of thousands of years. Yet now, it had been flattened in a single stroke. More crucially, it wasn't just the disciples of the Tianjian sect who died. Before the flattening of Tianjian Mountain, it was the time of Tianjian's 800th birthday celebration. At that time, the mountain had gathered all the powerful allies of the Tianjian sect. But the outcome? These mighty individuals perished along with Tianjian Mountain. This led to a catastrophic loss for most powers in the 5 domains. Subsequently, when facing the onslaught from the demonic Tao forces, the native powers of the 5 domains simply collapsed. In the first decade of this century, the demonic Tao accomplished the feat of unifying the 5 domains, a feat not even the Tianjian sect in its heyday, despite many powers submitting to them, could claim to have truly unified the 5 domains. And all this was accomplished by the demonic Tao forces. To be precise, the demonic Tao forces were able to do this entirely because of Lin Yuan. Without Lin Yuan's destruction of the major arteries of the righteous powers in the 5 domains, even if the demonic Tao wished to unify the 5 domains, they would have been dragged into a lengthy war, taking far more than 10 years to achieve unity. Of course, the so-called unification of the 5 domains by the demonic Tao was merely superficial. Behind the scenes, there were still many remnants of the original powers of the 5 domains trying to launch counterattacks, attempting to reclaim everything they had lost. But with Lin Yuan present, all resistance was futile. Lin Yuan did not even leave the underground palace, but merely sent out his Yin god and Yang spirit, inflicting heavy losses on the resisting forces. Even so, such resistance continued to occur. Each interval between resistance efforts was getting longer, clearly indicating that the resistors also knew that they were no match for Demon Lord Xiahou Yuan head-on. They could only lurk in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike. In the eastern region, Binhai City. Inside an inn. A storyteller was fervently speaking. Speaking of recent events, a group of strong individuals arrived in the coastal areas, suspected to be disciples of the Qing sect which was annihilated by the demonic Tao forces 100 years ago. The surviving disciples fled overseas and now they have returned, surely up to no good. This storyteller clearly had a well-informed source, even providing his own insights. From what I see, the eastern region is about to experience unrest, the storyteller said, his words filled with emotion. Great chaos in the world was definitely not good news for common folk like them. Meanwhile, in a corner of the inn, an old man with white hair and beard sipped his wine, savoring it joyfully. If there had been a Ninth Realm expert present, they would have detected that this old man, with his unfathomable aura, was also a cultivator of the Ninth Realm. However, this old man was different from other cultivators of the Ninth Realm. He did not seek power or wealth but enjoyed traveling through the 5 domains and savoring fine wines. This osmanthus brew from Binhai City is becoming more flavorful. The old man nodded in approval. Oh, Grandpa, you shouldn't drink. Did you hear what the storyteller just said? The eastern region is becoming restless. The young girl at his side tugged at his sleeve. Oh. The old man responded indifferently and continued to enjoy his osmanthus brew. Grandpa. The girl became a bit anxious and couldn't help but ask, do you think the 5 tribes will make a move? What does a little girl like you have to worry about such matters? The old man glared at her and seeing tears starting to form in her eyes, quickly soothed her. I don't know if the eastern region will be unstable, but a while ago, some folks from Dihua sect sought me out, wanting me to take action and occupy an Earth-grade spirit spring. Ah. So, Grandpa, did you agree? The girl's eyes immediately brightened. Of course not. An old man like me should just enjoy his twilight years. The old man shook his head and said. He did not have the courage to oppose the Demon Lord. Who was the Demon Lord? He was the strongest being in 100,000 years. Ordinary cultivator may not understand the concept of cultivating a primordial spirit to 100,000 zhang. But as a 9th realm cultivator, the old man was aware of the immense difficulty and the almost inconceivable awe that it inspired. Besides, the 5 domains under the rule of the demonic Tao forces, it's not much different than before. The old man glanced at his granddaughter, a curious expression on his face. 90 years ago, when the demonic Tao unified the 5 domains, the old man had seen it all. Originally, he thought that the suffering of all beings was about to begin, for how could the 5 domains possibly fare well under the rule of the demonic Tao? Would all beings simply be penned up and used as nourishment for the cultivators of the demonic Tao? However, as time passed, the old man suddenly realized that this scenario never actually happened. After unifying the 5 domains, the demonic Tao forces actively disseminated a cultivation system known as martial Tao. This system, which had a low threshold, was explained in detail by appointees from the demonic Tao forces. This generous act was something that had never occurred in tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years before. Chapter 173 How Tall is the Demon Lord? Super large chapter of 5,000 words. Understood the once great powers of the 5 domains, to maintain their own status, would never have passed on their family's cultivation techniques. Not to mention specially sending people to instruct others. This was simply. The elder was unable to describe such a measure. He only felt that the thoughts and considerations of the demon venerable were completely beyond those of ordinary people. Grandfather, I want to go to the central region and visit the sacred land of demonic Tao. The young girl whispered at that moment. The sacred land of demonic Tao was the very underground palace where Lin Yuan cultivated. Over a century, this underground palace had become a sacred site in the 5 domains, with countless cultivators going there to pay their respects. Of course, to avoid disturbing the demon venerable, all cultivators could only observe from 50 leagues away from the underground palace. The sacred land of demonic Tao? The elder was somewhat hesitant. But upon recalling that he had never opposed the demon venerable over the years, his expression quickly became calm. All right. The elder nodded, giving his consent. Beneath the underground palace, next to the vitality spring, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, his aura completely withdrawn, as if he was in an entirely different space. Seemingly illusionary. Seemingly ethereal. Name, Lin Yuan. Role, holder of the Myriad Realms Gate. Bound talent, heaven-defying comprehension. Current state, consciousness descent. Remaining stay duration, 140 years. 140 more years of staying duration. Lin Yuan glanced at the ethereal text below his line of sight and thought to himself. Unbeknownst to him, he had already been in this world for 160 years. The 300-year stay had almost imperceptibly passed by a large part. The 16th realm. Lin Yuan examined himself. 100 years had elapsed, and Lin Yuan had broken through 2 realms, from the 14th realm to the 16th realm. However, upon entering the 16th realm, Lin Yuan faintly felt that this realm seemed to be the limit of this world. Advancing further might provoke the innate rejection of the world. Perhaps directly expelling Lin Yuan from the world? No, that's not right. The limit of the world should not be merely the 16th realm. Is it because of that black hole to the north? Lin Yuan's thoughts surged as his gaze once again drifted northward. More than 100 years ago, Lin Yuan had detected a massive black hole to the far north, beyond the endless sea domain. This black hole at every moment was devouring the heavenly earth vital energy of this world. As a result, the upper limit of the world's powerhouses had been decreasing again and again. 50,000 years ago, even 100,000 years ago, there were traces of 11th realm powerhouses. Yet, in the recent tens of thousands of years, the 10th realm has become quite rare. Perhaps tens of thousands of years later, even powerhouses of the 9th realm will become a legend. It was due to that black hole that the upper limit of this world had decreased and was almost unable to accommodate Lin Yuan anymore. Over tens of thousands of years, whenever a 10th realm powerhouse emerged, they would disappear from the 5 domains within just decades or a century, perhaps heading for that black hole to the north. Lin Yuan looked thoughtful. After the demonic Tao unified the 5 domains, he had greatly increased access to historical records, understanding the final actions of those 10th realm powerhouses over tens of thousands of years. While Lin Yuan was pondering over this black hole, he seemed to sense something, emitting a slight sound of surprise, and turned his gaze toward the east. Under Lin Yuan's perception, 30 leagues away from the underground palace, 2 figures were stealthily approaching. One was the form of an elderly man, possessing the power of the 9th realm. The other was a girl in her teens, currently full of curiosity and inspecting the direction of the underground palace. Lin Yuan's gaze fell on the young girl. The Bai family still has descendants. Lin Yuan closed his eyes, feeling a sense of nostalgia welling up within him. The Bai family had significant ties with Xiahou Yuan, who hadn't yet achieved greatness in his demonic practices when he fell in love with the direct daughter of the Bai family. Later, because Xiahou Yuan made too many enemies, the Bai family was implicated and exterminated from top to bottom. The Bai family held a special significance for Xiahou Yuan. Back then, Luan Yi from the Tianjin sect, under the guise of Bai Qing'er, approached Xiahou Yuan, which is how she managed to gain Xiahou Yuan's trust. It was because she pretended to be a descendant of the Bai family's bloodline. Otherwise, how could a cold and ruthless man like Xiahou Yuan invest so much emotion in a woman? Finally, his mental state was forced, and he was suppressed in the 18th layer of the Great Abyss underground. However, now, Lin Yuan once again felt the aura of the Bai family bloodline from that young girl. This type of bloodline was not the disguise like Bai Qing'er's. It genuinely originated from the depths of her lineage. 30 leagues from the underground palace. The elder was somewhat nervous. They were now within 30 leagues from the underground palace, having ventured far deeper than the designated 50 leagues. Xiao Bai, are you sure it's all right to be this close? The elder asked again. Originally, he had come with a young girl, like other cultivators, to slowly view the area from 50 leagues away from the underground palace. But as the girl was exploring, she led the elder along a small path within the 50-league boundary, until now, when they were only 30 leagues from the underground palace. This made the elder sweat coldly when he thought that just 30 leagues away was the demon venerable Xiahou Yuan, who could level the Tianjin sect with one step. The elder's legs grew weak. Grandfather, what are you afraid of? I specifically found out about this path. Many people have walked it, just to get closer to the sacred site for a better view. The girl led the way in front, her tone brimming with excitement. Are you sure? The elder was now somewhat regretting bringing the girl here. Though the girl was not his biological granddaughter, having been found by him in the wild, the elder's affection for her was genuine, always treating her as his own granddaughter. Absolutely sure. Before us, many have already used this path to visit, and no problems occurred. Chapter 174. How tall is the demon lord? Super large chapter of 5,000 words. Under 3 the girl patted her chest and said, I hope so. The old man steadied himself, trying hard not to overthink. He had also noticed that many people had trodden the path beneath their feet. Yet, even being so close to a personage like the demon lord, the old man still felt fear from the bottom of his heart. Grandpa, you're too timid, the girl couldn't help but say. Timid? The old man thought helplessly to himself, but didn't know how to retort. Just then, in front of the path that the girl and the old man were traveling, a tall man appeared silently. The tall man stood there quietly, seemingly lost in thought. Upon seeing this, the girl immediately grinned and laughed. Grandpa, look. It's not just us on this road. There are others who want to get a closer look at the Holy Land, the girl immediately said. That's good. The old man breathed a sigh of relief. The tall man stood there without a hint of a cultivator's aura. To the old man, this was a sign of safety. If even ordinary people could get close without harm, they probably wouldn't have any problems either. Having walked along this path for so long without encountering anyone, the girl, upon meeting the tall man, immediately went up to strike up a conversation. Are you here to observe the Holy Land too? Observe the Holy Land? The tall man turned his head, glanced at the girl, and didn't answer. Don't be shy. Apart from observing the Holy Land, who else would come here? Thinking the tall man might be shy, the girl approached and said, It's just as well we met. You can come with us. My grandpa is really powerful, a great master of the 5 domains. The girl extended an invitation. The tall man remained unmoved, neither accepting nor declining. This made the girl somewhat exasperated. What's with this guy, acting like a mute? Did he even understand what she was saying? Let me put it this way, my grandpa is a 9th realm powerhouse. Do you know what the 9th realm is? The girl couldn't help but reveal some home truths. In the 5 domains mainland, there are fewer than 100 9th realm powerhouses, and my grandpa is one of them. If you follow us, you don't need to worry about safety. Were you picked up by your grandfather? Finally, the tall man spoke up, his voice deep and magnetic. He hadn't detected the Bai family bloodline in the old man. Ah, how did you know? The girl's eyes widened. She was certain she had not told the tall man about this matter. Could it be that you are? The girl's eyes lit up. Are you a fortune teller, someone who can divine? Did you realize instantly that I'm not my grandfather's biological granddaughter? Bai. The old man vaguely sensed something and his voice trembled slightly, not even daring to look directly at the tall man. But at that moment, his voice was so faint that the girl did not notice it at all. I didn't think you actually had some skill. I always thought those fortune tellers were just scam artists. The girl became interested. The tall man's ability to immediately see that she was not related by blood to the old man was obviously no simple matter. Come, come, come. Help me see when I can become a powerhouse like my grandpa. The girl stood on tiptoe, patted the tall man on the shoulder, and said, Don't worry, as long as you're accurate, I won't skimp on your reward. Let me tell you, my grandpa has a lot of treasures. Just take your pick of any. Bye. Seeing the girl actually daring to pat the tall man on the shoulder, the old man felt a rush of blood to the head and started to grow dizzy, his legs trembling, nearly collapsing right there and then. And it was precisely as the girl stood on tiptoe to pat the tall man on the shoulder that the air seemed to solidify. One after another, figures appeared all around. The aura emanating from each figure was that of a 9th realm peak. No fewer than 29th realm peak powerhouses stood quietly a short distance away. The leader among these figures exuded an aura that surpassed the 9th realm. However, all these figures appeared behind the girl, and considering her low power level, she didn't notice anything amiss and remained unaware. But whereas the girl was oblivious, the old man next to her sensed everything very clearly. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead, his legs shook uncontrollably, and he was nearly about to kneel on the spot. Retreat! The tall man stood with his hands behind his back, speaking indifferently. Suddenly, every figure that appeared vanished swiftly, as if by command. The alley returned to its original state. Only the old man knew what had just happened. He and the girl had nearly walked through the gates of death. "You remind me of an old friend of mine." The tall man smiled faintly. He reached out and gently touched the girl's head. Ouch! The girl didn't understand why, but facing the tall man's gesture, she had no intention of resistance and stood there dazed. "Go back. Practice well." The tall man raised his right hand. With a gentle wave, the old man and the girl felt darkness before their eyes. When they opened their eyes again, they found themselves 50 miles away once more. "Grandfather, what was that?" The girl was a bit bewildered. It took her a long while to react. What had just happened? Wasn't she just talking with the tall man? Bye! Only the old man had recovered his senses. He directly grabbed the girl's collar. Then, he sprinted in the opposite direction of the underground palace. Several hours later, thousands of miles away from the underground palace, the old man finally stopped. Fear still lingered on his face. "Do you know who that was just now?" The old man took a deep breath, raised his hand to slap the girl but couldn't bring himself to do it. "Ah, who was he?" The girl blinked her eyes. By now she had also begun to realize. "Demon Lord. He is Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan." The old man's voice trembled as he spoke. "He is the Demon Lord?" Bei's eyes widened once again. After a long while, Bai suddenly remembered a question. It was a question she had been too embarrassed to ask before, but having just met the Demon Lord and survived, she naturally wanted to ask it aloud. "Grandfather. Everyone says Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan is unfathomably tall. So how tall is he really?" The girl looked at the old man full of anticipation. "How tall?" The old man seemed to see the tall figure of the man flashing before his eyes once again. He should be as tall as the heavens, I suppose." Chapter 175 World Consciousness Descent. Please subscribe. It's just... The elder suddenly remembered something. He examined the girl over and over again. If he hadn't seen wrongly just now, did the girl stand on her tiptoes and pat that tall man on the shoulder? If that tall man was the Demon Lord, didn't that mean the girl had patted the shoulder of the Demon Lord? Such an audacious act, and yet they both managed to come out alive, was simply inconceivable. That was Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan, a ruthless person who could flatten Tianjin Mountain with one stomp. At that moment, when he saw the girl reaching out to pat the other's shoulder, fear clouded his consciousness. However, unexpectedly, nothing happened afterward. "She resembles an old friend," the elder remembered a sentence said by the tall man. Could it be that this granddaughter he had picked up was a descendant of an old friend of Xiahou Yuan? For a moment, the elder was puzzled. After thinking for a while, he decided not to think further about it. No matter what the girl's relationship with the Demon Lord was, she was his granddaughter. Having lived together for over 10 years, their bond was like that of family, if not by blood. The underground palace. Lin Yuan's gaze reached far towards where the elder was. Descendant of the Bai family. Lin Yuan's expression was calm. The descendant of the Bai family was Xiahou Yuan's deepest bond. Just now, when Lin Yuan appeared in front of that girl, he reached out and touched her head, and casually transmitted a strand of primordial qi to her. This strand of primordial qi could subtly improve the girl's aptitude. With this primordial qi, entering the 9th realm in the future would be no difficult task. Lin Yuan's action also served as a complete severance of the original ties between Xiahou Yuan and the Bai family. The 5 domains. Lin Yuan's gaze was profound. Under his command, the demonic Tao forces unified the 5 domains mainland with terrifying speed. It wasn't that Lin Yuan wished to claim the throne of the 5 domains. Rather, he wanted to spread the martial Tao cultivation system as widely as possible. Only by unifying the 5 domains could he openly propagate martial Tao, which was Lin Yuan's true purpose. During the few hundred years he would stay in this world, he wanted to fully integrate the martial Tao cultivation system into the 5 domains. That way, even if he were to leave one day, or even if the demonic Tao forces were overthrown, the martial Tao cultivation system wouldn't necessarily disappear. Just like a star colonizing movement, colonizers would spread their culture and language as extensively as possible on the colonized planet. Thus, Even if the colonizers were to be driven out and the colony became independent, it would likely still use the language and culture of the colonizers. There are countless evolution paths in the main world, each standing alongside strong practitioners. Even a martial path evolutionary path, no matter how excellent, couldn't compete with those that had existed for tens of thousands or even millions of years. Therefore, why not open up a new battlefield and spread one's evolution path through other worlds? Even though the scale of other worlds was far less than the main world, like the current 5 regions world, which at most was comparable to a higher-grade life planet in the main world, one could not ignore the sheer numbers. With the door to the myriad realms, Lin Yuan could spread it an infinite number of times. Furthermore, even if there are 100 billion citizens on a high-tier life planet in the main world, how many can truly cultivate a certain evolution path? In other words, Lin Yuan believed that with his means, he could make the martial Tao cultivation system the mainstream system of cultivation. That is, the first cultivation system that all beings would prioritize to practice. Day after day, as the years accumulate, what do those super-strong beings in the main world have to compare with Lin Yuan? Although I'm not sure what use there is in spreading the evolution path I created, or what its relationship with the ultimate leap is, there's no harm in it for me, just a small effort required, thought Lin Yuan privately. After all, no matter how many people practiced the martial Tao cultivation evolution path, it wouldn't affect Lin Yuan. And as for worrying about his descendants surpassing Lin Yuan, the founder, if it were the founder of an ordinary evolution path, there might be such concerns. But as for Lin Yuan, with his against heaven's understanding, not to mention the latecomers, even the trailblazers would be quickly caught up by Lin Yuan. The successors wouldn't even qualify to look up to him, let alone surpass him. My lord. At that moment, a voice came from outside. Come in, Lin Yuan said as if he had anticipated it, nodding his head. Soon, a figure walked in with utmost respect. It was Situ Ming. 100 years had passed, and with Lin Yuan's assistance, Situ Ming had successfully advanced into the 10th realm. He was the first among Lin Yuan's subordinates to reach the 10th realm. A perfect vessel indeed. Lin Yuan looked at the respectful Situ Ming and thought to himself. Situ Ming's body was a 5-colored lotus, with both flesh and primordial spirit coming from Lin Yuan. Therefore, in Lin Yuan's eyes, Situ Ming was the most perfect vessel for consciousness descent. In simple terms, if Lin Yuan's physical body were destroyed, he could directly take residence in Situ Ming's body. The two would be a perfect match without needing any time to adapt. Of course, in Lin Yuan's eyes, Situ Ming's usefulness was far greater than just being a vessel for descent. With Lin Yuan's current strength, even if all the powerful beings of this world attacked together, they wouldn't be sufficient for him to slap away. The only threat to Lin Yuan was the consciousness of the world itself. There was no need to prepare any vessel for descent. I need you to do something. Lin Yuan looked at Situ Ming and slowly spoke. Please speak, my lord. Situ Ming immediately responded formally. To say the least, even if Lin Yuan asked him to take his own life right now, Situ Ming would execute the command without hesitation. 140 years from now, I will leave this world. At that time, you will take my place, ensuring the spread of the martial Tao cultivation system. If there is any sign of its decline, intervene to prevent it, Lin Yuan stated. All things cannot escape the passage of time. Though over the past century, the martial Tao cultivation system had already spread widely throughout the 5 domains mainland. Chapter 176 World Consciousness Descent. Please subscribe. _2 More and more people began to practice martial Tao. But as time passed, there could be many accidents. And Situ Ming was the contingency plan left by Lin Yuan, the best candidate to protect the path of martial Tao. Situ Ming wasn't of the human race. His true form was a 5-colored lotus, possessing a longevity that spanned over 10,000 years. Moreover, with Lin Yuan there to aid his cultivation, entering the 11th realm before his time limit was no issue. With such a protector, Lin Yuan naturally felt at ease. After all, Situ Ming's physical body and primordial spirit were both bestowed by him, ensuring absolute loyalty, and even as time passed, no other thoughts would arise. As for what to do after 10,000 years, once Situ Ming passed away, Lin Yuan felt that if martial Tao could exist for 10,000 years in the 5 domains mainland, it would surely have taken deep root, making it impossible to erase even if one wished to. And even if something unexpected really occurred, there would be nothing Lin Yuan could do, as 10,000 years was not just a distance, but an immensely long span of time. Yes, Situ Ming agreed without hesitation. If the demonic Tao forces are threatened, Situ Ming asked cautiously. He meant to ask whether he should intervene to maintain control over the 5 domains if the demonic Tao forces could no longer maintain their rule in the future. You don't need to concern yourself with that. Just ensure the continuation of the martial Tao heritage. Lin Yuan waved his hand. Ensuring the transmission of a cultivation system and ensuring the transmission of a unified power are not the same in terms of difficulty. The latter is full of hidden dangers, and if Situ Ming truly dared to meddle, even with the strength of the 11th realm, he might not come out unscathed. Situ Ming wasn't Lin Yuan, who had the power to crush everything. The fact that 11th realm powerhouses had once emerged in this world indicated the possibility of more appearing in the future. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, didn't care. With the strength of the 16th realm, no amount of 11th realm fighters posed a threat to him. Besides, Lin Yuan had left some trump cards for the demonic Tao forces, ensuring that they would continue to rule the 5 domains for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years after his departure. You may leave. After today, you need not show yourself in front of others, Lin Yuan instructed. Just observe the 5 domains from the shadows. As you command. Situ Ming felt somewhat disheartened. He vaguely sensed that his master was giving his last words, but how could that be possible? A 10th realm powerhouse lived for 2,000 years, and his master crushed 10th realm fighters as if stepping on ants, so why would he be giving his last words so soon? Watching Situ Ming's departing figure, Lin Yuan fell into contemplation again. To fully integrate the martial Tao cultivation system into this world, Lin Yuan had made 3 preparations. The first preparation was the unification of the 5 domains. To spread the martial Tao cultivation system in the most orthodox way. The second preparation was having Situ Ming, the protector, to ensure that the martial Tao cultivation system could still be spread steadily after his departure, capable of facing and resolving any accident that might occur. The first 2 preparations were for unexpected situations under normal conditions. They covered nearly all possibilities. As for the third preparation, Lin Yuan targeted the world consciousness of this world. The world is conscious. This was something Lin Yuan had vaguely sensed during his first travel. In the martial world, when Lin Yuan finally began to touch its upper limits, he felt a pressure coming from the heavens and the earth, like a whale stranded on the beach. This was the world consciousness rejection. As for the second and third worlds he traveled to, Lin Yuan never had this feeling, solely because those 2 worlds were special. In the Dragon Tiger world, there were items like the true martial sword and primeval demon spirits from higher realms. Its world level was vaguely elevated, so Lin Yuan never felt rejection in the end. The divine arms world was even more akin to being incomplete, with parts of its laws extracted by the ancient godly beings to create divine weapons, leading to the world's consciousness being weakened. In this current world, Lin Yuan could faintly sense the will of the world. What is the world consciousness? It has no joys or sorrows and is similar to the artificial intelligence of the main world, constantly maintaining the operations of the world itself. Lin Yuan's third preparation was to prevent the world consciousness from deliberately suppressing the martial path evolutionary path. If the world consciousness detested the martial path evolutionary path and under its own evolution, even with the presence of the protector Situ Ming, the martial path evolutionary path might not last long and could disappear through various accidents. World consciousness. Lin Yuan murmured softly. The world consciousness was not a tangible entity. If Lin Yuan wanted to meet with the world consciousness, it could be difficult or not, depending on the approach. The simplest method was through the Children of Destiny. The Children of Destiny are products born from the outburst of the world's grand fortune, targets of the world consciousness' keen attention. If Lin Yuan found a child of destiny, he might be able to communicate with the world consciousness. Of course, even without a child of destiny, there were still ways to force the world consciousness to appear. That is, by destroying this world. Lin Yuan naturally would not employ this method, but it could be used to intimidate the world consciousness. Child of destiny, Lin Yuan pondered. Over 100 years ago, the Tai-Yin primordial spirit had once glimpsed those 3 children of destiny, remembering their auras. But soon after, these 3 children of destiny disappeared from the 5 domains mainland. Lin Yuan speculated that under the empowerment of the heavenly and earthly movements, they must have encountered some extraordinary fortunes. I'll wait a bit longer. After pondering for a moment, Lin Yuan sank back into cultivation. With his current level of strength, as long as those 3 children of destiny reappeared on the 5 domains mainland, Chapter 177 World Consciousness Descent, Subscription Request. For 3 they could perceive it in an instant. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, several years had gone by. In a certain purple bamboo forest in the eastern region, thunderous roars. A series of booming sounds came forth. Suddenly, 3 figures soared into the sky. A vast, distant aura wildly dispersed. The area within tens, hundreds, even hundreds of miles, was all enveloped by a terrifying aura. Ha 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 ha. We're out, we're finally out. Xianxia, Jianghu, and Xianxia, the 3 of them laughed wildly. Their clothes were tattered, but their eyes shone with extreme brightness. Over a century, they had endured endless torment underground and had finally passed the test, emerging through their own strength. And after such a long time of cultivation, their strength had leaped from the peak of the 9th realm to the 10th realm. And not just the 10th realm but the peak of the 10th realm. Furthermore, in the underground world, the trio had discovered a joint attack skill. After they perfected it, their combined attack could withstand opponents from the 11th realm and even the 12th realm. After a long time, the 3 vented their emotions. They started gathering together to discuss what to do next. Our current strength could dominate a region even 10,000 years ago, and if we use that secret technique, maybe even Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan. Xianxia said this but stopped short, his gaze revealing a hint of ambition. The underground world century had been a persistent nightmare because of Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan. If the 3 of them could defeat Xiahou Yuan, no, just withstand him, or even just save their lives from him, that nightmarish influence would completely vanish. With their minds fulfilled, even striving for the 11th realm might successfully happen. Then, Xiaohua also felt slightly excited, about to ask when they would seek out Xiahou Yuan. Suddenly, just then, a deep, magnetic voice came through. No need to look for me. In an instant, the heavens and earth turned upside down, the sun and moon lost their light. A mysterious aura filled the area for thousands of miles. Under the shocked gazes of Xiaohua, Jianghu, and Xianxia, a towering figure approached from the horizon, each step seeming to compress space. In just a few steps, he stood before them. I came by myself. This towering figure stopped, looking down at Xiaohua and the others. Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan. Xiaohua's scalp numbed, his spirit shuddering, feeling as if the power of the 10th realm within him had completely succumbed to stillness. In front of Xiahou Yuan, Xiaohua felt he wasn't the invincible fighter of the 10th realm, but rather a baby, a mere ant. How can he be so strong? Xianxia felt utterly disheartened. The sensation Xiahou Yuan gave them now was far stronger than that of the primordial spirit from a century ago, by 10-fold, 100-fold. During these 100 years, not only had they made significant advances, Xiahou Yuan had also been refining his skills continuously, even refining at a pace much faster than theirs. Xiaohua opened his mouth, wanting to say something. But then he saw Xiahou Yuan, suspended in the sky, raising his right hand toward them. Boom! A terrifying aura instantly began to compress. Xiaohua and the others suddenly spat out blood, their consciousness beginning to blur. Are we going to die? Jianghu slowly closed her eyes. However, just then, a cold, vast consciousness appeared silently. Xiaohua slowly stood up, his eyes which had been red, now turned pure gold. He looked up at Lin Yuan. Though looking up, there was a sense of looking down. As if heaven were looking down on all creations. World consciousness. Lin Yuan withdrew his hand, placing it behind his back. You've finally shown yourself. Chapter 178 Trade, Crossing the Seas, the 11th realms beyond the 5 domains. Xiaohua stood erect, his eyes a pure golden color, void of any emotional fluctuation. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan was not surprised. For him, Situ Ming was the perfect vessel, and he could dominate his body with just a thought. After all, everything about Situ Ming was bestowed by Lin Yuan, who couldn't resist him, and he didn't even harbor the thought of resisting. Similarly, in the eyes of the Supreme World Consciousness, the perfect vessel is naturally the child of destiny. Whenever the World Consciousness wishes, it could descend into the body of the child of destiny at any moment and take control of everything. Faced with the descent of the world will, the child of destiny couldn't resist, and no matter how strong, it was pointless. Years ago, Lin Yuan planned to force the world consciousness to appear through those 3 children of destiny. Regrettably, The three children of destiny had disappeared from the five domains mainland a century ago. Until moments ago, the aura of the three children of destiny re-emerged, and Lin Yuan immediately rushed over. Actually, Lin Yuan had no intention of killing the children of destiny. He was merely feigning a murderous intent to test the waters. Even if the world consciousness did not appear in the end, Lin Yuan intended to hold back. After all, the children of destiny are the favored ones of the heaven and earth's grand fate, the spokespersons of world consciousness, and killing them directly would be too wasteful. Rather, it was better to slowly refine the traces of grand fate from their bodies, which might prove useful to him. However, Lin Yuan was fortunate, as this slight probing managed to force the world consciousness into appearance. Lin Yuan speculated that the world consciousness valued these three children of destiny so much because it had invested a lot in them. If it were 100 years ago, these three children of destiny would only possess the strength of the ninth realm. Even if Lin Yuan decided to hunt them down, the world consciousness might not necessarily intervene. A child of destiny of the ninth realm, even if one died, cultivating another one wouldn't be difficult. But the 10th realm, especially these three children of destiny, being at the peak of the 10th realm, just a hair's breadth from the 11th realm, Lin Yuan even sensed a kind of homogeneous aura from them. If the three joined forces and stimulated the homogeneous aura within their bodies, they could utterly unleash the power of the peak of the 11th realm or even the 12th realm. To cultivate these three children of destiny, the world consciousness obviously had also invested a lot, and wouldn't allow them to die easily at the hands of Lin Yuan. State your demands. With pure golden eyes, Xianxia spoke in a flat tone. At this moment, his own consciousness was in a deep slumber, completely replaced by the world consciousness, making him the most powerful existence in this world. So powerful that even Lin Yuan couldn't match him. But the world consciousness isn't a living being. Everything it did had to follow rules, far from being as unrestrained as Lin Yuan. I want the martial Tao cultivation system to be eternally inherited in this world, thriving for tens of thousands of years. Lin Yuan spoke. Without the tacit approval of the world consciousness, even if Lin Yuan made many preparations, the martial Tao cultivation system would struggle to endure. Lin Yuan might not face any mishaps while he was present, but as soon as he left this world, under the suppression of the world consciousness, it might once again nurture another child of destiny specifically to eradicate the martial Tao cultivation system. Impossible. Xianxia directly refused. As the absolute dominion of this world, he was very clear that the cultivation system from the first realm to the 10th realm was the most suitable for this world. As for the martial Tao cultivation system, while not weaker than the native cultivation system, the world consciousness faintly realized that allowing this path to rise in the five domains was not a good thing. This cultivation system, which clearly bore the mark of a specific existence, could influence him if allowed to develop over a long period. Compared to the third world that Lin Yuan traveled through, the Divine Arms world, this world's world consciousness was much more intact, able to make decisions that were most beneficial for itself. Impossible. Lin Yuan's expression remained unchanged. Since the world consciousness hadn't immediately left, it indicated that there was still room for negotiation, and Lin Yuan's initial demand was rather steep, yet there was still significant room to step back. Outside the purple bamboo forest, Yang Bixin and Xin Lang's faces were pale. When the world consciousness descended into Xiaohua, it casually threw them out. Clearly, it didn't want these two to overhear the direct conversation between Lin Yuan and itself. Lin Yuan had no objection to this. Xiaohua he. Yang Bixin's lips trembled slightly. The power of Xiahou Yuan, that formidable devil, far exceeded their imagination. Before meeting Xiahou Yuan, the three of them were full of ambition, devising a series of plans. Such as what to do if Xiahou Yuan struck first, what to do if they attacked first, and how to save themselves if they couldn't defeat Xiahou Yuan, among others. However, when they actually faced Xiahou Yuan, the three realized how naive their ideas were. Ambition? A series of plans. No amount of preparation could bridge the gap in absolute power. In front of Xiahou Yuan, the three were like ants waiting for judgment, incapable of any other action. If it weren't for Xiaohua at the end. At that thought, Yang Bixin and Shen Lang exchanged glances. As powerhouses at the peak of the 10th realm, they were certainly far inferior to Xiahou Yuan, but they could instantly determine that Xiaohua was replaced by the world consciousness. They also realized that Xiaohua seemed like a different person. And Xiaohua's transformation directly caused Xiahou Yuan to stop and even expelled them, not allowing them to hear the conversation between the two. Could it be? Shen Lang harbored a guess in his heart. He had received the heritage of an 11th realm powerhouse from 50,000 years ago, knew many secrets of the world, including descriptions of the world consciousness. You're tuning in to the Wisdom Diary YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.